What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start if you are already up and at it, whether you are tuning in on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You got your app. You can download that, take it on the go. Smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices. Got the video stream that's also up and rolling on YouTube on Man Cave TV, and something new that we're going to be doing on the video stream. Going to do a little daily stumper, Dan's daily stumper. Got a trivia question. It'll be between 1 and 4 each day, and weekly winners will get some prizes and such. So you have to tune in to the video stream and see that trivia question, and then answer in the comments. So that's the way to go about it. I'm not going to tell you what the question is on the air. I got to go to the video stream. So. All right. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? Brewers offense coming alive last night after being down 2-0 heading into the bottom of the second. No problem. Brewers put up 7 runs and never looked back. Ended up with 16 total runs, 18 total hits for the Brew Crew. It was like Oprah was saying, you get a hit, you get a hit. You get a hit. Every starter besides Jake Bauers got a hit. However, Jake Bauers walked 4 times last night. So he was on base multiple times. In fact, let me just kind of double check here. Okay. No, I was like, did everybody get on by walk? No. But there was, they had, the Giants issued 11 walks last night. So, Frelick, couple hits, couple doubles for him. Bottom of the lineup, coming through in this game. Frelick with a couple, Rengifo with a couple hits, David Hamilton with 3 hits, Yelich in that leadoff spot, 3 hits, Cheerio with a couple, Terang with a couple. Of all those runs, too, no homers in typical Brewers fashion last night. Shane Drone went 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Chad Patrick pitched an inning, but he gets credited with the win. DL Hall with a couple. Anderson and Woodford with an inning each as well. So with the win, the Brewers improved to 36-21, 15 games above 500. They'll be back at it tonight, game 2 of this 4-game series. We get Kyle Harrison on the mound. What's in store for another start for Kyle Harrison? Trevor McDonald on the other side for the Giants. McDonald's appeared in 5 games so far, and he is 2-2, but he's coming off of an appearance against the Diamondbacks. Didn't get charged with a loss, but he went 6 1/3 and just gave up 2 earned runs in that game. So first pitch again tonight, 6:40. You can tune into pregame coverage on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, at about 6:05. So plenty of Brewers chat, plenty of baseball chats coming your way this morning. So we're going to talk a little football here this morning. We got another OTAs week for the Pack. Going to get some media. I was trying to think of the word media. Media is going to be able to witness practice today and such. So I guess we'll see if Josh Jacobs is there or not. But we'll get a little Packers stuff out there. But a massive trade yesterday. It was kind of a busy day in the NFL with June 1st. Myles Garrett getting traded to the Rams. So the Rams taking a page out of their book from a few years ago where they were just acquiring everybody and just pushing all their chips in the table, saying, we're going for it again this year. Aging quarterback with Matthew Stafford, they're going for it again. So after, the offseason where they acquired, a McDuffie from the Chiefs for a first-round pick, and now they've traded off another first-round pick and a couple other picks, and Jared Verse for Myles Garrett. So Myles Garrett moving to the NFC. Shocker. That, yeah, wow. Wow. A.J. Brown, the worst kept secret in the world, getting traded to the Patriots as well. Odell Beckham Jr. is back with the Giants, so kind of a busy day yesterday. So there is a little bit of a kind of sort of Packers rumor out there. Josh Sweat, somebody that we've mentioned quite a bit in the offseason. But could that be a potential option for the Packers to reunite with Jonathan Gannon, not only because he was with the Cardinals this past year, but he also spent some time with him in Philadelphia. So that seemed to be a Twitter rumor, social media rumor that has been floating out there now for what it's worth. Matt Schneidman said, nope, no conversations and such. And I know there's been a little bit of back and forth on social media saying, well, that's what they said about Micah Parsons too. So, but that is out there. So I guess with the trade of Myles Garrett going to the NFC, going to the Rams, does it make it a little bit more important for Green Bay to maybe go out there and have a counter move, even though they're not in that same division, but it's the same conference, right? So I don't know. What do you think, Packers fans? Do you think Green Bay almost has to do a kind of a counter move, considering what maybe the Rams have done all off season and such, or do you think they're still in good shape and just kind of stand pat in that? But we'll talk some football here this morning and get your thoughts on all that. What else do we have on the docket? We're going to catch up with RJ Cardinal coming up at about 8:20 this morning. So we'll talk some Badgers with Mr. Cardinal here this morning with the new football GM coming over to Wisconsin and that. So we'll talk all things Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears? You can get off your chest, make it appropriate, text it on over to that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line or the Section 105 chat room, and we'll throw it up on the air and such. We'll continue our 250 countdown, the 250 sports moments with America turning 250. We're going to take a look at some of the athletes today. We're doing 10 each weekday leading up. It'll conclude on July 3rd, the day before July 4th. So yesterday we talked a little bit about some of the leagues and such. That is available on the Man Cave podcast if you missed it. But today we'll kind of take a look at 10 athletes, and there's going to be a lot more athletes. All right, these aren't just the top 10 most important. This is like the first 10. So that's coming your way a little bit later on. I want your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Best ones I'll read up on the air. We've got sports confessions. What's a sports confession that you need to get off your chest and such? And then finally, new daily segments called Built in the Man Cave. We'll kind of tell you what that's about when we get to that a little bit later. We'll probably do that in the next hour, maybe right. Let's shoot for that about 8:00 this morning. Built in the Man Cave. So as you can tell, we have a loaded up game plan. So should we just get to things here this morning? We got Brewers to talk about. Oh, Express. Got to throw this out there too. Express. If you were went to the Express game last night, you were treated to an epic finish, a walk-off grand slam by the Express. So shout out to the Express last night, picking up the win. Quick road trip to Madison, taking on the Mallards tonight, and then they'll be back home, taking on the Mallards tomorrow, and then they'll be on the road for the next 6 games. UW-Milwaukee baseball falling short to Auburn last night too, 8-3, just one game short of the Super Regionals. So that's kind of where their good run, their magical run, Cinderella run over with. But another fantastic season for UW Milwaukee baseball. Best of luck to all the prep sports that are going to be in action today: softball, baseball, tennis. I mean, there's a lot, as Justice previewed yesterday. So best of luck to a lot of our local athletes and teams that are still in action this morning. So, all right, let's get things going here this morning, shall we? Let's open it up talking some baseball. The Brewers offense putting up a big old crooked number last night to get game one of this 4-game series. We'll hit that up. We'll talk a little football, all that good stuff in the first hour. So we'll take our first break, and we'll be back after these quick words. Don't forget to tune in to the video stream if you want to partake in our new daily stumper question out there. Could be between 1 to 4 questions. They'll be updated throughout the program, and we're going to have a new trivia question up there every day. And it gets your chance to add up some points, accumulate some points, and then we're going to give away some prizes and such. So that'll be only on the video stream, all right? Only on the video stream, so you got to look at it over there. I'm not going to tell you what the question is right now. You got to go to the video stream. Just look us up on YouTube, all right? So let's get things going here this morning. Let's talk a little baseball. Let's give the Brewers the honors here this morning. Brew Crew picking up, dominating win last night, 16-2 after falling early 2-0. By the way, how many of you thought Jackson Chourio caught that if you were watching it? Robbed that home run. Man, it looked like, I think everybody kind of thought maybe he caught that, even Matt Chapman and such. But Brewers drop it or falling early 2-0, heading into the bottom of the second. No problem with this offense, right? Putting up 7 runs in the bottom of the second to completely take control of that game and never looking back, adding 4 more in the 8th to really put it away there. But a 16-2 victory that saw the offense collecting 18 total hits on 16 runs, even getting 11 walks, only striking out was it 5 times? 6 times. 6 times. Only striking out 6 times in the game last night. And Yelich, actually, and Bowers collecting 2 apiece. But impressive game last night by the offense. Good to see the bottom of the order of Frelick and Rengifo and Hamilton. Between the 3 of them, collecting 7 of those hits. 3 from Hamilton, 2 from Rengifo, 2 from Frelick. Frelick collecting a couple of doubles yesterday, too. So good to see those guys getting in on the action at the bottom of the order. Bowers didn't collect a hit, but he walked 4 times in the game last night. But Drowan goes 4 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 4 hits. Chad Patrick comes in for an inning and collects the win, going 3-2 on the season. So a little bit of that bullpen starts with DL Hall going 2 innings, Anderson, and then Woodford going an inning apiece. So, I mean, it's one of those games that you kind of just, all right, yeah, a lot of runs and kind of move on and such. So, but I think, yesterday, Frelick, finally, it's only one game, so I don't want to say, it's the Summer Sal. The Summer Sal is back. But Pat Murphy yesterday talking a little bit about Frelick after the game, saying that Pat Murphy talked about Frelick and said that Frelick and Yelly took as many swings today as any humans could possibly do before the game. They worked early and worked often. So you can. Frelick knows, too, that he's got to get the game back up and he's got to get the offensive game going and such. So hopefully this is something that you can kind of stack success and build upon that as well. And, even Bryce Terang kind of maybe getting a little bit out of his slump with his performance last night, too. Bryce Terang collecting a couple hits, walking a couple times, couple of RBIs, because in his last 21 at-bats, Bryce Terang's just hitting a .095. Last 15 games, just 196. So he's been in a little bit of a slump from an offensive standpoint. So maybe kind of hitting his way out of it last night with his performance and such. So just overall a solid offensive performance from the Crew last night. When you put up 16 runs, 18 hits, 11 walks, no home runs. If that doesn't define the 2026 Brewers offense, perfectly, I don't know what does. I don't. That sums up the Brewers. If aliens came down and said, so-and-so, you need to tell us what the Brewers offense is like. Well, you just give them that stat line, and that should cover it. They can score a lot of runs. They can walk. They can get on base. They can play some small ball, but they're not going to hit a ton of home runs. That's the Brewers offense in a nutshell. How about let's give some props to Andrew Vaughn here. So Andrew Vaughn had a couple of hits again last night. And when we look at Andrew Vaughn here, what has he done for the Brew Crew lately? It's 3 games in a row now where he's collected at least 2 hits. I mean, 2 hits in his last 3 games. And Andrew Vaughn this season, while maybe he hasn't displayed a ton of power, he's just got 1 home run. But in his 65 at-bats so far this season, Andrew Vaughn is hitting a solid .354 with a .425 on base and a .933 OPS. In his last 7 games, he is hitting .455 with an on base of a .455 and slugging at .591. He's had multiple hits in 8 of his 17 games that he has started. Andrew Vaughn played opening day, then he got hurt, but since he has come back, Andrew Vaughn has been a nice, consistent presence in the middle of that lineup. Batting like in that 5, 6, maybe a couple times in the 4 spot, cleanup. But Andrew Vaughn has been, ever since he has been back from that fractured hamate, he has been a nice, consistent presence at the plate. Sure, maybe you want a little bit more power from him in that, but he is becoming, or right now as of late, he is a guy, when he steps up to that plate, he's a threat to get on. And you just got to tip your cap to him for how well he has been playing here as of late. Big reason, too, why the Brewers are playing some of the best baseball in Major League Baseball. Best record in the month of May. Number 1 was the Brewers, 19-7. I know we're past May, no, but hey, they began June with a W. So, we've got game 2 tonight, and we get Kyle Harrison on the mound. Kyle Harrison, another one of the nice surprises, another one of these guys that has been performing amazing as of late, and he's one of those pitchers in the National League that is just having, he's in that group with Misrowski and Sanchez and such that had an epic month of May. Now it's like, okay, first start in June. You set the bar high in May, kid. So what do you have in store for us this month? But just a quick recap of what Kyle Harrison did in the month of May in 5 games. In the 5 games that he started, he went 4-0 with a .96 ERA, 31 strikeouts, just 6 walks. One home run given up, 3 earned runs total. 2 of them came in the game against the Yankees back on the 9th. So, new month, but can Kyle Harrison continue to do what he has been doing from the pitching mound? I'm excited to see how he can continue to improve, continue to stack that success, continue to get better and better and better. I'm excited to see what he's got in store for tonight. Now, there is a little bit of experience with some of the hitters from the Giants going up against Kyle Harrison, but not really a ton here to really write home about. But, Kyle Harrison probably also wants to, go up against his former team and kind of, say, hey, maybe you guys shouldn't have dealt me. He may downplay it. And a lot of these athletes are going to downplay it, going up against former teams but, I mean, come on, we're all human, right? we all have a lot of the same feelings. Not everybody, but we all have a lot of the same feelings. If I was Kyle Harrison, I'd be a little bit more in tuned, maybe a little bit more pumped up to showcase my stuff, especially if I'm playing at a high level and I'm playing really well and I'm throwing the ball really well and I'm going up against my former team, the team that traded me last year to Boston and that. Yeah, I want to showcase what they're missing, and I want to prove to them what they're missing. He's a California kid going up against the team. You're probably thinking Giants. I'm a California kid in that. All right, let's go. Come on. And no. So yeah, there is going to be there's going to be a little bit more amped up feelings from him, I would imagine. Now, how can you, I think the biggest thing is, can you harness that? Can you control that? Do you not let that overtake what you have been doing lately out on the mound? Go do your thing. Go do your ball game. Go do your game. Throw like you've been throwing. Don't let that extra enthusiasm or that extra motivation overtake what you've been doing really well as of late. But yeah, there's going to be a little bit of, I want to prove them wrong. I want to really go out there and maybe pitch one of my best games. All right, yeah, that'll be motivation, but don't let it overtake. Don't let those emotions overtake your solid play here. First pitch, 6:40. You can listen to it on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Coverage will begin at about 6:05 this morning. So, speaking of baseball again, the Express picking up a walk-off win last night thanks to a walk-off grand slam. So, the Express are going to be on the road for a quick road trip down south to Madison tonight. Then they'll be back at Carson Park taking on Madison tomorrow. UW-Milwaukee baseball, their run ends one game shy of the Super Regionals. They fell to Auburn last night, 8-3. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll talk more baseball. We got football. Packers fans, your reaction to the Rams acquiring Myles Garrett and the potential rumor about Josh Sweat coming over to Green Bay. Would you be willing to maybe throw a third-round pick for the guys? Second-round pick. How high would you go? How high would you go? All right? Send them on over. Hit me up with a text or a comment on the video stream. We'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Dings, dents, or something more serious, don't stress about it. Just head to Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. That's Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. Superior Auto Body, our official backyard dreams partners. So kind of a busy day yesterday in the NFL world. I mean, a massive trade. Massive trade. Not often do we get moves like this. I mean, we get it with Green Bay last year, of course, and Micah Parsons. But Myles Garrett, a year after signing a new deal with the Cleveland Browns, he is now a member of the Rams. So he had a no-trade clause, but, I mean, come on, you get a chance to go to the Rams and that, yeah, you're going to do it and such. So, but the Rams sending a first-round pick, Jared Verse, and a second and a third over to the Browns in exchange for Myles Garrett. Now, it is clearly evident with some of the moves that the Rams have done this offseason. Trading picks. They're back to their, blank them picks sort of thing. But I think what the Rams are doing, and they kind of did it when they first acquired Matthew Stafford, right? And then they went out and they got Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're kind of doing it again. They drafted their quarterback of the future. We don't know how many more years Matthew Stafford's going to play, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't know. But what are they doing? They're like, okay, we're going to go for this. We're going to try to add more rings, championships, while we still have Stafford. So, yep, we're not going to be acquiring or we're not going to be drafting a lot, but we're going to get some proven talent right now. Honestly, I feel like that's what a lot of Packers fans wished Green Bay did in the latter years of maybe Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Now, Rodgers, they kind of did. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, they went in and out, but they didn't really trade picks to bring in people, right? So I think that there was probably some Packers fans yesterday saying, man, why couldn't they do that? That's what we wanted Green Bay to always kind of do over those years and such. So different philosophies. There's no doubt about it. But it also may come, as I was reading a little bit yesterday from people out there too, it may come at the risk of, all right, Rams may not be able to sign or at least not thinking about right now re-signing some of their younger guys like a Puka and such. It may have taken them out of the running for something like that. But when you have a Rams team that was in the NFC Championship game and they go out there and make the moves that they did in the offseason, we have a Green Bay team where that championship window is right now. Even though they're not in the same division, is it imperative for Green Bay, in your opinion, to maybe counter? How do you counter? What do you do to counter? That's the question. Is it Josh Sweat? That's a rumor that's out there. Could he be a trade target for the Pack? Reunites with Jonathan Gannon. Now, Josh is 29 years old. Paired up with Gannon with the Eagles and then with the Cardinals last year. Last year for the Cardinals, he had 12 sacks. I mean, a solid year in the sack department. And it's one of those, potential pair him up with his former defensive coordinator, his head coach. And you kind of look at the Cardinals, too, and you're like, okay, maybe a little bit of a rebuilding mode. So Josh probably wants to be out of there. I would assume that. But this is where things kind of get a little tricky. It's his contract. Because this year he has a rounding up $16.4 million cap hit. Green Bay's got some extensions they also want to get done. So any move, it would have to be, how much does Green Bay want Arizona maybe to take on some of that cap hit, some of that money? How much is Green Bay going to be taking that on? And then you kind of look at 2027, that cap hit goes up to $23.6 million. But it's a rumor out there. It's something, you could call it a social media, you could call it a Twitter rumor and that. But how high? What would you be willing to go in terms of a trade package? Third round? Second round? They don't have a first round. Would you trade your second round pick in what is supposed to be a very deep 2027 NFL draft, especially quarterback heavy, so maybe it pushes a lot of guys back down in the draft? Third round, that's the highest you'll go. Fourth, fifth. Does Green Bay need Josh? Micah's going to miss the first few days. You got Lucas Van Ness. You got a couple of other younger guys in that mixture. What says you? What do you think? And this is a player that we've talked a little bit about in the offseason as a potential target maybe for Green Bay. And you look at his career, and he's been fairly healthy, which you would think that would fit a Green Bay priority. His rookie year in 2018, he played in 9 games. But since then, 16, 14, 16, 16, 17, 16, 17. He's been out there. He's had double-digit sacks last year. He's only had double-digit sacks twice in his career. Last year with the Cardinals, and in 2022 with Philadelphia, he had 11. He was a Pro Bowler the year prior, though, 2021 with Philadelphia. But the lowest amount of sacks he's had was 4, which was his second year, not counting his rookie year, which was 0. 4, 6, 7.5, 11, 6.5, 8, 12. He's kind of he's a player too that I think can be a little position versatility. Obviously, Gannon knows how to use him, right? That's the key in this thing. If this is a legit target for Green Bay, Jonathan Gannon knows exactly how to use him within his defense. Now he's been listed as a defensive end. He's listed as an outside linebacker. You look at his size, and that makes sense. You're talking about a 6'5", 260, 265 pound individual. But the biggest thing here is that Jonathan Gannon knows exactly how to. He knows how to put him in a position to succeed, right? Not putting a square peg into a round hole. He knows how to make it work. So, but what's it going to cost? At what price? What's the highest you would go? Do you think Green Bay needs him? What do you think? Hit me up. I'm curious to get your responses. Okay? Do you think this is a priority? Do you think, and the other part in this whole thing is, do you think Green Bay needs to sort of counter what the Rams did? Let's face it, Green Bay's championship window is now. It is now. The Rams championship window, it is now. Look at the rest of the NFC. Chicago, Detroit, Seattle's your defending champs. I'm still throwing the 49ers in here too. There's this NFC, Philadelphia. It's at least on paper. We got a lot of offseason to go here yet before we actually get into games. But at least on paper, this is, I think, a fairly deep NFC. So does Green Bay need to counter after what the Rams did, even though they're not a division team? A lot of times we talk about this when it comes to division teams, right? It's like, oh, the Bears or the Lions or the Vikings did something. So, yeah, we got to counter that. But when you got a championship goal, a Super Bowl goal, not a division championship goal, a Super Bowl goal, and you see another team within that conference make a big move like that, I don't know. Now, that's not always a great mindset for a general manager to necessarily have. Like, okay, they made a move, so we got to make a move. You kind of want to be level-headed and such, but I'll tell you what, as a fan, I'd be a little antsy. For sure. Talk about that defensive line. Depth, I think if you could get depth on that defensive line, that'd be a big bonus. All right, well, let's take a quick break as we start to wrap up the first hour. But let me know what would be the price tag that you would send them. Don't just tell me yes. What would be the price tag for a 2027 draft pick? The highest you would go, knowing that the cap hit is a lot. What would it be? I'm going to put you on the spot as a general manager. Okay? Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up the first hour after these quick words. Don't forget to sign up for the Kasper Classic. Just head to our website at sportstalk1051.com and get your two-person team signed up today. And I'm going to tell you right now, 10 a.m. is sold out. I told you, 10 a.m. sold out as of right now. So you got 1 p.m. and you got 7:30 a.m. So big thanks to everybody who has signed up and such. I'll double check it, but I think I'm going to have to close the 10 a.m. I just looked at the numbers, so we're going to have to shut down that time. Maybe we'll have one open up a little bit later on, but don't count on it. So you still got the 1 p.m. tee time and the 7:30 a.m. the Surveyor flight, the Surveyor Sam flights, and that if you want to join Surveyor and his team out there. So again, you can go to WAYYradio.com, sportstalk1051.com, or 715store.com and sign up your two-person team for the Kasper Classic coming up Friday, August 7th. And a big thanks to all of our partners. If you are interested in partnering and sponsoring a hole or donating a raffle prize, hey, reach out. That'd be awesome if you'd be able to help out, because all of the proceeds go to Backyard Dreams. So, all right, coming up next hour, we're going to continue our 250 countdown. We're going to take a look at 10 athletes. So we'll do that coming up next hour. We're going to talk some Badgers with Mr. Cardinal coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Talk about the new football GM. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what's grinding your gears? Get it off your chest, okay? Send them on over. Text it 715-830-1912. All right, send those on over. So, and then, yeah, just have some fun on this Tuesday morning, right? But we got a couple texts to get to here with the Josh Sweat. Rando from Chippewa Falls says, Packett, Harrison Jr., and Sweat. Cards get Van Ness and 3rd and 5th round picks. If I was the Cardinals, Rando, I'd say no thank you. With no first round pick in there, I'd say no. Green Bay, I think, would love that. I think if Green Bay were to, if the Arizona Cardinals were to say yes to that, I think Green Bay would run to the table, pick and get that thing in. If I'm the Cardinals, I would shoot that one down right away. That's just my opinion. C-Bomb says Josh to Green Bay with Parsons reminds me of Sean Jones coming to help Reggie White. You want to double the man, the backside is going to eat you up. I would give up a first round in 2028 and a 4th round this year. I think the Rams have shown that you can survive without first round picks. The one thing that the Rams have done, I think, a really nice job over the years has been regrouping fairly quickly. Right, when they won their Super Bowl and they gave up a lot of picks and such, yeah, sure, they had a year or two that was down a little bit, but they regrouped nicely after that too. So, just a couple minutes left. Good morning, Morgs.
Hey, how's things, Kasper?
Good. How are you?
Not too shabby. Speaking of your Tuesday tussle, do a little bit of hot take, fast action.
All right.
How do you think about this? Audiobooks count as reading, yes or no?
Yeah.
I struggle with that one.
For us who don't have a lot of time, yeah.
But
hey, if it's a really long book, I get intimidated, so I'll do the audio version.
You know, actually, we had one of the Sports Talk listeners chime in. I've heard this, though, about Project Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah.
I read the book, but I heard the audiobook is like way better, which is weird because now it's like you have audiobook, book, movie. And I thought the movie was actually a little better than the actual paper book, but somebody said the audiobook's pretty solid as well.
Okay.
So book or movie, what do you think's usually better?
Usually the book.
I think so too. Except Project Hail Mary, I would argue the movie was
just
marginally
goes into
better.
more detail.
What do you think? Vacations are more stressful than relaxing?
Yes.
What was the last vacation you went on that felt like an actual
Well,
vacation.
what do you define vacation?
Like getting away.
Well, I don't know the last time I got away.
No?
No.
Okay, how about this? High school reunions are unnecessary.
I've never been to one, so I'll say.
Would you go?
Would I go?
So Mighty Medford calls up and says, we're having a reunion. What reunion would you be in?
Graduated in 04, so next one would be what, 25?
Would
30?
you go?
Probably not.
Why not?
I still talk to the people that I want to talk to.
That's what the theory is. Why would I see people that I don't go out of my way to see already? But are you curious what people are up to?
That's what Facebook's for.
Think about your class. If you're not going to sleuth on the internet, is there one kid in your class that you're curious about that you actually don't know what they're doing?
Oof. Well, I had 250 in my class, so.
Oh, see, that's.
No, probably not.
Okay.
No.
What about texting is better than calling?
No, come on. Did you really need to ask me that one?
I know.
Yeah.
Somebody that we work with yesterday, we were having a conversation. Somebody that we work with said, I just want you to pick up the phone and call me. I hate texting. I'm like, no, did you say that backwards? Because that's the wrong answer. Who prefers calling to texting? Texting's way easier.
I have a buddy by the name of Hetch. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, you're throwing him under the bus?
Yeah. Hetch.
He's a caller.
He's a caller. Yeah.
Now, do you pick up when you see it because he's your buddy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Now, this is a good question for you because you're like always got to be on the cutting edge. You like to sleuth and you like to be in the know. True or false? Everyone secretly loves spoilers.
True.
No. You're wrong.
No. We got 10 seconds. One more.
I legit do not want to know spoilers.
I don't either, but then I end up trying to find out. So, yeah.
Okay, one more. Naps should be mandatory.
Yes.
Okay, you win.
All right. Thanks, Marcus.
Anytime, Casper.
All right, second hour kicks off right now on this Tuesday morning of June 2nd. Thanks for hanging out with us, no matter where you're listening to us or how you are listening to us. We're going to continue our top 250 countdown. 10 more. We did 10 yesterday. We did the leagues, the 250th anniversary of Team USA, America's birthday coming up next month. So yesterday we kicked off our top 250 series, the 250 moments, athletes, coaches, games, teams. You can't write the history of American sports without these 250 things. So we just kicked it off yesterday. If you missed it, it is up on the Man Cave podcast. Each of these segments will be up available on the Man Cave podcast. So make sure you're following and subscribing to the podcast to listen to that. So we've got the Daily Stumper, new thing we're going to be doing on the video stream only. I'm not going to tell you the trivia question on air. You got to look at the video stream. It is posted up right there. All you have to do is answer it in the comments, and you're going to be entered to win some prizes, weekly prizes. So could be one question, could be 4 questions. I could do 1 per hour, or I could just do 1 per show. Honestly, it just depends on if I remember to change it out or not, or just give everybody a chance. So the first question is up there right now. If you're watching the video stream, it's right there on the right. So just put it up in the comments, answer in the comments. So speaking of which, Zach is over there saying, good morning, everyone. Wow, those Brewers bats were hot to trot. Some monster trades yesterday in the NFL. Looks like the Rams are stacking up to make a run at the Super Bowl. And that was something we kind of talked about at the back end of the first hour. If you are a Packers fan, all right, or maybe you're a fan of another team, Vikings, Bears, whatever the case may be, do you look at what the Rams are doing saying, okay, if you are a contending team in the NFC, do you feel like your team needs to counter, needs to, make a big splash, make a move to kind of counter that? Yay or nay? And maybe it depends on your team. So Packers-wise, do you think they have to make that move? Sports Illustrated. Connor Orr has his 100 bold predictions for the NFL season already up. Number 8, Lions will win the NFC North. One of the most underrated aspects of a team's schedule, in my opinion, is the runway with which to build momentum. That momentum overpowers the basic fact that many of those wins were against opponents that the team should have beaten. Those wins create a false confidence those teams carry with them into more neutral matchups or matchups in which a team should be considered an underdog. I love the beginning of the Lions slate, even if Detroit has all of its road divisional games over the final weeks of the season. My thought, if the Lions can bank 4 wins from their opening stretch against the Saints, Bills, Jets, Panthers, and Cardinals, they will be in a much better position to lose ground later in the season in Green Bay or Chicago. Okay. I'm scrolling through here to see if there's any sort of Packer one on here. Wow. Connor's very high on the Lions, saying the Lions will lead the NFL in regular season wins. All right. Vikings-wise, J.J. McCarthy will start fewer games than Carson Wentz. All right. Interesting. I get it. These are bold predictions. PFF's top-graded rookie offensive lineman will be Burton of the Packers. Burton, a 5th-round pick out of Kentucky, is not locked-in starter at this point. His guard center versatility and 100% league injury rate guarantees that he will eventually get a window of time to showcase his skills on down-to-down basis with the Packers. Wow. All right. Maybe makes you feel a little bit better about that pick. So you got a little bit of a Packer one there. All right. Okay. Interesting. Anything else really quick here? Just trying to. Carson Beck, Max Crosby. Don't I'm at 50, and I don't really see any other Packers one. I'm surprised there's like no Micah Parsons one. I'm going through this pretty quick, so maybe I missed something, but yeah, I don't see. And Vikings will surpass their current projected win total, topping 8.5 wins. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Vikings and Lions. Jordan Love will lead the NFC North in all major passing categories except for yards. Love will outpace Jared Goff, Caleb Williams, and the combination of Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz, and J.J. McCarthy in touchdowns and completion percentage, but Wilson will lead the NFC North in passing yards. Okay? Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I don't think that's too much of a big, bold prediction, but I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm at 90, Georgetown. Okay. Yeah, all right. Not a whole lot there, but very high on the lines. Conover is on that Sports Illustrated piece. Interesting. So, since we were talking a little bit about a potential Josh Sweat's rumor for the Pack, I want to put you on a spot. What would be the price tag for Green Bay? What would be the price tag for Green Bay that you'd be like, okay, I'd be good? Is second round too high? They don't have a 2027 first rounder. Third round too high. Fourth round, it's a big cap hit too. Where would that price tag be? Where would that price tag be? All right, let me know in the comments on the video stream or on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Zach says, I think a fully healthy Packers team still matches up very well with the Rams. It would be a really good matchup to watch, and we're going to get that the day before Thanksgiving. So we'll get back to some more Brewers talk coming up here in a little bit too, as the Brewers picking up a win yesterday. The bats, the offense coming alive. We got Kyle Harrison on the mound. Kyle Harrison coming off of a fantastic month of May. What does he have in store for him and the Brewers for the month of June? I'm excited. And he's going up against his former team. So maybe a little added extra motivation to boot. So, but all right, let's take a quick break so we can jump into the top 250 really quick. C-Bomb, a couple more texts here first before we do that. It's worth knowing that even though the Rams are getting arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL, they gave up a huge piece in Jared Verse. He was becoming a dominant pass rusher himself, so the Browns may lose a little bit, but they gained multiple pieces to strengthen their roster. This could be another win-win trade for the Rams, just like they did with Matthew Stafford. Surveyor Sam says, good morning, DK and everyone else. I still believe Green Bay needs to get a running back. They should be heavy into trading for a backup right now. You have Trey Benson, Arizona, who's a third back, my favorite player from the draft a couple of years ago. My favorite player from the draft a couple of years ago, Vidal, who is with the Chargers. Isaac from San Francisco, he's hurt right now, I think, but I don't know how long he's out. There are plenty of guys with a ton of ability that are stuck behind some very good backs. All right, take a quick break, and we're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk some of the most influential, popular, famous athletes in the past 250 years in America's history. Can't tell the history of sports in America without some of these athletes. It's not all of them, but we're going to get through the first 10 coming up after these quick words. When it comes to quality meat in Eau Claire, there's one name that locals trust. That's Mike's Star Market. From hand-cut steaks and fresh ground beef to homemade brats and specialty items, everything is prepared with care and packed with flavor. Planning a cookout or filling the freezer, or you're just looking for something better for dinner tonight? Mike's Star Market has got you covered. Stop on in today and taste the difference. Mike's Star Market, your hometown butcher shop in Eau Claire. All right. So let me bring this up here. All right. So let's continue our 250 countdown as we are getting set for America's 250th birthday. We are counting down the most influential, the most famous teams, players, coaches, games, all that stuff. You can't tell the history of American sports without these 250 things. So we kicked it off the other day, and we set the basis. We looked at the leagues, right? I mean, it kind of starts a lot with the leagues out there. So let's kind of take a look at some of the athletes. Now, if you follow my Facebook page, I did post last night, who in your opinion is the most influential athlete in the past 250 years, the best, the most popular? Can go about it different ways. Here are some of the responses. Babe Ruth in baseball, MJ in basketball, Tom Brady in football, Jordan, Jim Thorpe, Babe Ruth. We've got Tiger Woods. We've got Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Brett Favre. We've got LeBron. About to be Wemby, MJ, Brady, Ruth, Gretzky, Jackie Robinson, Jesse Owens, Babe, Michael, Reggie White, Ali, Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan. So a lot of repeat names out there, which shouldn't be a big surprise. So I'm going to go with 10 right away, and these aren't the only 10. So I don't want anybody yelling or complaining, saying, well, how did you miss this person? How did you miss that person? And such. These are the first 10. We got 240 more spots to go here. Trust me, there's a lot more athletes coming up on this list. But like a lot of you said, Michael Jordan's on this list. You can't tell the history, not only of the history of the NBA, without arguably the game's greatest player of all time. You can't tell the history of sports without Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I mean, when I think about the NBA, he is the first name that still comes to my mind. He is still the first player that comes to my mind, is Michael Jordan. To me, in my opinion, is the best player that the NBA has seen in its 250 years. There's been some great players. There's been some other GOATs. But if I had to pick one, if I had to rank one, Michael Jordan for me. Michael Jordan kind of took the game to another level. Popularity, pop culture, and just overall play. I mean, just he was a guy, I've said it many times, that when I was a kid and I was a young NBA fan watching, I didn't like Michael Jordan. I didn't like Michael Jordan for the pure fact that he beat my teams. Kind of like where a lot of people don't like Tom Brady, because Tom Brady and the Patriots won a lot. A lot of it was straight up jealousy, 100% jealousy. But you know what? Now I love Michael Jordan. I've got a Michael Jordan wingspan poster in my man cave. I've got Jordan books. You know, now I respect the heck out of Jordan and his game and what he meant to the game of basketball. And there are so many different levels that we can pinpoint to Jordan in the effect. I mean, branding. The Jordan brand, for crying out loud. That's another element to this thing. When you talk about the world of sports or sports in the last 250 years, you want to talk about branding? Michael Jordan, if he's not one, he is up there in terms of the most popular athlete in branding. The logo, right? The Jumpman logo. Even long past his playing days, Jumpman. Now it's on college jerseys. They still make the shoes. You want to talk about a guy who has had a major impact in the sports world outside of his playing days too, from business side. You've got Jordan. Now look what, even dabbling in NASCAR. Wasn't a great owner in the NBA, but still a huge impact in the world of sports long past his playing days. Michael Jordan, that's easy. Another person that a lot of you mentioned on my Facebook post, Tiger Woods. I've long said it before that Tiger Woods made golf cool for me, and I think for a lot of people in my generation when we were younger, because I think golf had this conception, this thing over him, like kind of a fancy sport, maybe kind of you got to have money to play, a gentleman's game, and that. He made it cool. And when you're a kid, when you're younger, you want to do stuff that's cool. You want to play stuff that's cool, right? You kind of want to do stuff where you're not going to get maybe picked on or ridiculed or whatever. He made it cool. He got Nike on, which made it cooler because it's like, okay, Nike's in it. Nike's like a big brand in that. So commercials were cool. He made it cool. He changed the game of golf. Made it more, it's like, okay, an athlete. You got to be an athlete to play golf. Tiger did that. All the wins, all the championships, a lot of scandal at the end of his career here. You can't ignore that either. But in terms of the sporting world, you can't tell. Again, the basis of this thing is, can you tell the history of American sports in the last 250 years without this? Can't without Tiger. I mean, the effect that he still had winning the Masters a few years ago. When Tiger's in contention on a Sunday, or if he's playing and he's not even in contention, the amount of eyes that still go to him and to watch him is unbelievable. So Tiger's on that list. Tom Brady. I mean, again, a lot of you on there too. For many, the GOAT of the NFL. Definitely with the most championships. And you're kind of seeing the next wave of his sports life. Part owner of the Raiders, right? He's a broadcaster and such. But for a lot of us, we've witnessed Brady from the beginning. It's the story of a draft pick, 6th round pick, gets in and ends up maybe being arguably the greatest football player that we have seen. And it goes to that whole GOAT debate in football. Is it championships? Is it talent? Is it a little bit? And it's like, I don't want to necessarily say like Tom Brady was Tom Brady was talented. But was he the most physically gifted quarterback in the NFL history? No. And I think he'd tell you that too. But what matters the most? It's rings, right? He played for a long time. He's got a lot of records that I don't know if they'll ever be broken because of his longevity in the game. But when you look at it with those rings and the amount of times that he went to a Super Bowl, I don't think that's going to be matched, at least in my lifetime. That bar is set so incredibly high, that I don't see that happening anytime soon. So when you look at the football world, when you look at the NFL, you got to throw Tom Brady in there. While I know this next person was not born, in case anybody's wondering if this is just all athletes that were born in the USA, not necessarily. And again, I don't think you could tell the history of American sports in the last 250 years without at least acknowledging the great one, Wayne Gretzky. I know he was born in Canada, but a lot of his playing days, they were in the United States. Whether he was playing, with the Kings, the Rangers, or hot minute for the Blues and such. You can't tell the history of the NHL without Wayne Gretzky. He was with the Phoenix Coyotes post-playing career too. But when I think of hockey, I think of Wayne Gretzky. I think of video games. And that's the other thing too about Tiger Woods I forgot to mention. You want to talk about another golf video games, Tiger Woods video games, for crying out loud. Wayne Gretzky, it's, just straight up, when I know he was born in Canada, but he played on USA teams. He played on American teams. He played a lot of games in this country of ours. And when you think about NHL, to me, with all the GOATs and the best of all times and such, Wayne Gretzky probably, for many sports voters, I don't want to speak for any of them, but if you had to say, okay, who's the GOAT of each sport? I feel like Wayne Gretzky would get the majority of he would have the highest votes in his sport. Like Jordan and LeBron may split votes, but I think the gap between Gretzky and the second one, whether it's Gordie Howe or whatever, maybe just a little bit higher. You know what I mean? So Gretzky might get, I'm just going to throw out some numbers, 80% of the vote, where Jordan might get 60% of the vote. It feels like a majority, when you ask the question, who's the GOAT in each sport, more are going to say Gretzky for hockey. I mean, you can't tell the story of hockey without Wayne Gretzky, even with his playing time in the NHL and such. I'm going to go, so that's 4. Again, these aren't the top 10. These are just 10 athletes right away because we got a lot more to get to here. But Michael Phelps, I mean, you want to talk about one of the most decorated Olympians of all time. Michael Phelps, his Olympic career, it's just the dominating things that he did in the Olympics he was must watch for. And I'll admit, I'm not the biggest Olympic fan, but when Michael Phelps was on, I was watching, because what he did in that pool as an Olympic athlete was pretty darn special. I mean, 28 medals all across the board. He holds the all-time record for Olympic gold medals at 23. Olympic gold medals in individual events, 13. And 16 Olympic medals in individual events, just all medals. So 13 of the 16 were all gold. Michael Phelps is one of the most dominating athletes that we have ever seen in America's history. What he did in the pool, what he did on that Olympic stage for a long time, that was special. That was incredibly special. And we've had some great Olympic athletes over its history. But when you talk about the most decorated, most medals and such, I think that record is going to be very, very, very hard to top. So Michael Phelps has to be on this list. Muhammad Ali, going the boxing route. Cassius Clay, floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee. When you talk about the greatest boxers in history, his name's up there. For a lot of people, it might be number 1. I think probably the majority, they're going to say it's number 1. But again, when you talk about the history of sports, pop culture, talk about icons in the sport, you talk about, popularity. Yeah, definitely some outside the ring debates and issues on his thoughts and his choices. And, I know the draft resistance on there ruffled the feathers of a lot of people. But his impact on the world, his impact in the sports world, going up against, epic fights of Joe Frazier and Sonny Liston. Pound for pound for a lot of people, the best boxer of all time. And when you talk about it from, again, a pop culture standpoint in the world of sports, when you think about boxing, who's the first name you think of besides Rocky Balboa? It's probably Muhammad Ali. Probably Muhammad Ali. You got to have him on that top 10 list. Serena Williams. Just the other day, she's coming out of retirement to play some doubles. But when you talk about maybe the most decorated women's tennis player of all time, most dominant women's tennis player of all time, it's Serena Williams. She was ranked as the world number one for 319 weeks, third most of all time, finished as the year-end number one 5 times. She won 73 WTA tour-level singles titles, including 23 major women's singles titles, the most in the Open era and the second most of all time. She is the only player to accomplish a career career Golden Slam in both singles and doubles. To me, is the most dominating women's tennis player of all time, one of the most dominating tennis players of all time. What she did on the courts and just kind of her rise with her and her sister Venus Williams, but Serena, she was absolutely spectacular to watch on that tennis court. Again, I'm not the biggest tennis fan, but there was a lot of times when I would tune in just to watch her on the court and seeing what she was going to do and seeing the dominance that she was displaying. And when I think about women's tennis and I think about tennis just in general, I got to go with Serena Williams, right up there. Next up, some of you mentioned it on my Facebook page, but he may not be like Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame and Baseball Hall of Fame and that, but I got to throw Bo Jackson in there too. Again, when you talk about some of the best athletes of all time, Bo Jackson is up there. His careers ended because of injury. Now, he is in the College Football Hall of Fame. But when you talk about dual sports, Bo Jackson, baseball, football, dude was fun to watch. Tecmo Bowl, again, pop culture, right? We still talk about Bo Jackson. And when you talk about players that, man, if you could, like, who's the player whose career was cut short due to injuries that you would love to see have a full career? Bo Jackson's at the top of the list for a lot of people. Easily one of the greatest athletes of all time. And the fact that he could play 2 professional sports at a high level is so incredibly rare. And when you talk about the history of sports in America in the last 250 years, you talk about maybe the best or one of the best to play at the highest of levels, one of the best athletes of all time, you got to throw Bo Jackson in there. You can't tell the history of American sports without telling the story of Bo Jackson. I mean, whether we're talking about playing Tecmo Bowl or whether we're talking about him playing for the Raiders or how many times, I just saw it again the other day when he's playing with the Royals and that throw, gunning him out at first base or some catches. I mean, the plays, we still see them all over the place because he was amazing to watch. And speaking of one of the best athletes of all time, you got to throw Jim Thorpe in there. Jim Thorpe, for many people, or Jim Thorpe was one of the best, if not the best athlete of all time for a lot of people. You're talking about a guy who won Olympic gold medals, played professional football, played professional baseball, basketball. You want to talk about athlete? This guy was an athlete. Pro Football Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame, first president of the NFL. I mean, there was the controversy of the 1912 Summer Olympics with his gold medals. They got taken away, but now he got them back just a couple years ago, a few years ago. More people probably think of him as football, as a football player. And with those Canton Bulldogs, he was a great player. But he was a pretty good baseball player, too. And track and fields for the Olympics. But he did have a little bit of a basketball career, too. In 1926, he was the main feature of the world-famous Indians of LaRue, Ohio, a traveling basketball team. You want to talk about an athlete, and you want to talk about, and especially in the early days of sports, Jim Thorpe. I mean, you got to throw him in there. One of the best athletes that this country, that this world has ever seen. And then my last one for just today, I mean, we're talking about players that, kind of were icons, pop culture icons. And actually, I'm going to say that one. Let me backtrack because I got my whole list here. I got to go Babe Ruth. When you talk about baseball, and a lot of you mentioned that there too, I mean, Babe Ruth, okay? Kids know. Today's kids know who Babe Ruth is. They may not know exactly who Babe Ruth is, or they may not know exactly what Babe Ruth did, but they know. Babe Ruth is one of the best baseball players of all time, and still for many, the best player of all time. The Sultan of Swats. The Great Bambino. I mean, it's the Sandlot movie. Just, the other day, a couple weeks ago, we were getting ready for a Little League game. My team was. We're in the cage, and the kids who were outside, warming up before it was their turn to cage, they were quoting the movie Sandlot, and they kept saying the Babe Ruth parts. The impact, even though his playing days were in the early 1900s, early mid-1900s, the impact that he still has nearly 100 years later on younger baseball players. People know who he is. Not many athletes can say that. When you talk about the game of baseball, Babe Ruth. That's the first name a lot of people still think of, is Babe Ruth. When you think about some of the major sports out there, whether it's the NBA, the NFL, NHL, MLB, who's the first athlete that comes to your mind? Jordan for many for basketball. That is for me. NFL, it's probably Brady. Major League Baseball for me, no question, it's Babe Ruth. So those are the first 10 of many more athletes to come. Again, this isn't, for some that could be the top 10 for most influential best athletes in the last 250 years and such, but we got a lot more to go through. We got coaches, we got games, we've got teams even. I put teams on there because there's certain teams, not all teams, but there's certain teams where you can't tell the history without mentioning some of these teams, like iconic franchises, iconic teams, dynasties, right? And of course, coaches have to be on there too. So, all right, let's take a quick break. Regroup here a little bit. Don't forget, it is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? You can let us know. Send it on over. All right, text it. Hit us up on the Section 105. Answer the trivia question on the video stream for your chance to vote, or for your chance to maybe win a prize, a weekly prize in that. So send that on over. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back after these few words. Looking for a great spot to unwind in Eau Claire? Well, you need to check out the VFW Post 305 and take in the view from their gorgeous back patio. It's one of the best in town. Whether you are meeting some friends, enjoying a cold drink, or just soaking up a summer evening, this is the place to be. With live bands, fun events, and something happening all the time, there's always a reason to stop on by. VFW Post 305, great views, great vibes, right here in Eau Claire. Don't forget, too, with their summer Saturdays, 3 to 6 p.m., live music on the patio, too. So if you're looking for somewhere to hang out on Saturday afternoons, they've got beverage specials and food specials as well. So, yeah, like this Saturday, as long as the weather's good, right? Weather dependent. But if it is a gorgeous Saturday and you're looking for somewhere to hang out, look no further than that back patio at the VFW Post 305. So, we've got a little grind my gears. So get those on over. Our Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears? You can text it on over at 715-830-1912. So, but, all right. We do have to take a quick break. We do have to take a quick break here. So, play a little catch up and such. So, we got a couple more texts before we got to take another quick break. I don't want to get off too far off track. So, all right. We got Grind My Gears Tuesday. What grinds my gears is this from Ben. Ben says, what grinds my gears is still, I don't feel like the Brewers are getting enough national attention from everybody out there. So I don't know if that means, Ben, is that from a national perspective or not? We definitely give them a lot of attention and such. So interesting. But maybe that's what you're probably thinking of, is like maybe the national side of things and that. But another grind my gears is it grinds my gears that Sanchez had to have a better month than Jacob Mizorowski. I wish he would have allowed one run, so then maybe Jacob Mizorowski will win Player of the Month. Another texter. What grinds my gears is Jonathan Lucroy from last week being critical of the Brewers' leadership. It was good to see him issue an apology to Murph, Woodruff, and Yelich. But come on, man, you're a former Brewer. You have to support the team. I did see Lucroy did go out there and post that and post an apology out there for the Brewers. So, all right, let's take a quick break. Like I said, we got to play a little bit of catch up and such. So let's take a quick break. Well, let's do that. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, we only got about a couple minutes left to the top of the hour here. So coming up next hour, we're gonna chat some Badgers with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. We'll talk about the Badgers. We'll talk about the Badgers hiring a new football general manager. So we'll hit that up coming up in about, let's say, 20 minutes or so. You can send over your Grind My Gears. What's grinding your gears? Brought to you by Toyson Ford. Also, since it is Tuesday, it's also a I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. And I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. So you can get those on over as well. We'll talk some more Brewers coming up next hour, previewing Game 2 of this 4-game series. Brewers coming off of a 16-2 win last night, 18 hits for the Crew. No home runs. It was a perfect Brewers. I mean, if you were to sum up the Brewers' offense so far this year, just look at the box score, look at the stat line from last night's game. 18 total hits, 11 walks, 16 runs, no home runs. Yeah, if that doesn't define the 2026 Milwaukee Brewers, then I don't know what does. All right. Let's we got shot clock coming up in 30 seconds or so. So let's do that. We'll wrap up the second hour, head into halftime, and then we'll kick off the next hour. Talking some more baseball before we get to Mr. Cardinal. But, hey, Packers fans, Josh Sweat, do you want him in green and gold? And how much would you be willing, like a trade package? Would you be willing to give up a second-round pick for him? He's got a big cap number. About $16 million this year. Then it jumps up over 20 next year. Do you think Green Bay needs to kind of counter what the Rams did yesterday by acquiring Myles Garrett? Let me know. Text it on over. I want to get your thoughts. All right, 2 in, 2 more to go. We'll be back after these news updates. All right, third hour coming up right now. Third hour coming up right now. Big thanks for hanging out with us this morning and tuning in and listening on the radio dials or online or the video stream or wherever it may come from. We're going to talk some Badgers with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Mr. R.J. Cardinal coming up in just a little bit. So we'll talk about the Badgers getting a new football GM and the latest and greatest surrounding the Badgers and college sports overall. So then we'll get back to some more of your thoughts. Packers fans, I'm curious to hear from you with the move by the Rams yesterday to acquire Myles Garrett. Do you feel like the Packers, who are also, let's face it, a contending team in the NFC, a championship window that is open right now, do you feel like they need to make a counter move? Do you feel like they need to go out there and kind of, make maybe it's a Josh Sweat? Is that the move? Or what do you think they need to kind of, I'm trying to think of another way to say it, but I think that's probably the best way is a counter move. Usually we talk about this when it's division teams, but this obviously is a conference move. So we'll talk about some football stuff a little bit later on. Before we get to RJ here, though, we've got Brewers-Giants game 2 of this 4-game series with the Brewers coming off of putting up 16 runs last night. I'm going to go at it again tonight with Kyle Harrison. What does Kyle Harrison have in store for the Brew Crew after an epic month of May? He is a part of that group of NL, National League pitchers. He is part of that group of National League pitchers who had a fantastic month of May. And honestly, probably any other month with Harrison's numbers, he might have a really good shot of being player of the month, pitcher of the month, with his 4-0 record and a .96 ERA. But thanks to Christopher Sanchez and his teammate Jacob Mizorowski and such, yeah, it was just one of those months. But I'm excited to see what Harrison has in store for us to begin a new month. Can he continue to build? Can he continue to stack that success? Can he continue to put together some really, really good performances like he did in the month of May and continue to grow? He's going up against his former team. May downplay it a little bit, but I mean, come on, we're all human. It's a human element. You get a little bit more motivated. You maybe get a little bit more jacked up for these type of games because you're having a really good year and you're going up against your former team. So you probably want to showcase. You want to show off a little bit. The biggest key, I think, for Harrison tonight is just to make sure that those emotions don't overcome him. Continue to do what you've been doing. Don't let that kind of, don't let that maybe extra motivation kind of, I guess, get in the way of you doing your job at a high level tonight. That's the biggest key for me, I think, for Kyle Harrison tonight is just go out there and do your thing. You may want to, put out your best performance against your former team, but don't let that creep into your mindset. Don't press, don't push. If you have a mistake, don't kind of overcorrect it, which we sometimes, and again, that's human. You do that, especially when you amp yourself up a little bit more, put a little bit more pressure on yourself. On the flip side, Trevor McDonald's going for the Giants, the 25-year-old. He's started 5 games for the Giants so far, all in the month of May. He's 2-2 with a 4.34 ERA. He is coming off of a loss against the Diamondbacks, but it was a quality start, going 6 1/3, giving up just 2 earned runs. The game prior to that was another loss where the White Sox, he went just 3 2/3, giving up 7 earned runs. His other starts include a win against the Athletics where he went 6 2/3, 1 earned run. A no decision against the Dodgers, 5 1/3, 3 earned runs. And his first start of the season against the Padres, he went 7 innings, giving up just 1 earned run. It was a home run and picked up the win. So if the Brewers offense, I mean, this is kind of a key for every game. especially with this Brewers staff, pitching staff, younger pitching staff. If that Brewers offense can put up some crooked numbers early, kind of like what they did last night, even though they were down 2-0, what do they do in the bottom of the second? They put up 7 flipping runs. If they can go out there and give Kyle Harrison some early run support and maybe kind of help settle things down and maybe get after Trevor, they'll be in a good shape. So, biggest keys to victory tonight, in my opinion, for the Brewers, Kyle Harrison, don't let the moments, kind of overtake yourself. Just go out there and do your job. Don't let the fact that this is your former team that traded you to Boston last year kind of creep into your mind. You can use that as extra motivation, but use it the proper way. Use it the proper way. Okay? And then, offense, help them out. Give them some early run support. Maybe help settle those nerves or settle those that amp. This isn't the right word, but settle that ampness up or ampness down a little bit. I'm trying to think of the right word, and I'm just blanking right now. So, but first pitch 6:40. Coverage begins at 6:05. Catching up on a few texts here. We've got a texter saying with the Packers thing, definitely think the Packers should go after Josh Sweat to help improve the pass rush. No problem with more depth on that line, especially with Micah Parsons missing the first few games. I would surrender a third-round pick. That comes from Alex on the texting line. We've got Mike on the texting line saying, I definitely think the Packers should explore acquiring Josh Sweat. I would like, though, if the Cardinals would take some of that cap hit away from him. I'm thinking a day 3 pick for him. So that'd be a 4th rounder. You think that'd be enough, though? Maybe multiple picks? I don't know. And then we got another texter saying, Josh Sweat, I think a 2nd round and 3rd round might be a little too much. I could maybe be convinced with a late 3rd round pick. I just don't like the cap hit that is left on his contract. We got Scott also with a message saying, I think Josh Sweat would be a nice addition to this Packers pass rush. With him, Micah Parsons, Lucas Van Ness, and some of the youngsters, I think they got the makings of some good depth at that position if it were to happen. And then another texter, don't have a name, can't give you any credit, but he says, I don't think this trade is going to happen. I just think it's too much money. I'm not saying I'm against it. I just don't see the Packers pulling the trigger, especially since they don't have a 1st-round pick for next year's draft. I don't think they want to trade away any more of their picks for 2027. All good points from all of you. All solid points from everybody. Don't forget something new that we're doing. If you're tuning in to the video stream, daily trivia questions where we're going to add up all the correct points, and then we'll be giving away some stuff at the end of every week. So we're going to start it off today. I'm not going to tell you what the question is. You got to tune into the video stream, and it's posted up there, and just answer the question in the comments. That's simple. That's simple. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll switch gears, and we're going to talk some Badgers. We'll talk some Badgers with Mr. R.J. Cardinal, his thoughts on the new football GM. It's still weird to say that, a football GM for college sports. But here we are. All right, we'll take a quick break. Back with more after these few words. Summer is almost here, and that means it's time to hit the road in something that you love. At Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Are you looking for power, comfort, or reliability? Hey, they've got it, all backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure you're riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. Speaking of Toyson Ford, again, the Express with a walk-off Grand Slam victory last night, and they now hit the road for a 2-game series, 1 home, 1 away, but they'll start off on the road tonight. Taking on Madison, the Madison Mallards, where our dude, Mr. RJ Cardinal, is currently at down in Madison. Good morning, RJ. How are you?
Morning. Doing pretty good. How's things with you?
You know, not bad, dude. We're into June. We're into the summer. I finally got out to the golf course, so life's not too bad right now, my man.
Yeah, I did as well on Saturday morning. So yeah, it was good. The left side of my body pretty sore because I mean it was legit my first time swinging all year. I hadn't even gone to because I'm not too far from where I live. There's a place that has simulators, and I know the owners, so I occasionally get free time there. But haven't no driving range yet this year, nothing. So kind of went raw into it, and my ribs on my left side are paying for it right now.
Well, did you play well? That's kind of the big question. Did you play well?
Yeah, I actually did pretty well. We forgot a scorecard, so really didn't keep score, but ended up with 2 birdies and 5 pars on the round. So the couple of the blow-up holes didn't seem so bad.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Sometimes that's what happens, right? That's what I did. I didn't go to the driving range at all, and I thought I hit well the first time out there. So maybe I'm overthinking it all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I just got to do that all the time. Just never practice ever again.
Exactly.
Just go play.
Practice does not make perfect, kids. That's what we're telling you right now. So,
don't even try.
Yeah, right. All right, let's go to, well, we got some Badger news to talk about, RJ. So the Badgers, they've hired a new general manager for their football program. Morocco Brown, a longtime NFL executive. Latest was with the Colts, where Chris Ballard is a Badger alum, is on the committee to search for the new athletic director and such. So I guess when you first heard this news, your thoughts on the hire?
It's actually one of those, don't ever remember even hearing about the guy. So I had to go through and try to do some research just to see what positions he's held in personnel departments in the NFL. And you know, he's been around some programs. He was with the Bears under their old regime. He was with the Commanders, with the Browns, most recently with the Colts, where it seems he was the fall guy for Anthony Richardson. He was the one who was pushing him really, really hard to get drafted and keep with him and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately, I guess, and we know that's a failed experiment. But I mean, I don't know if somebody's the head of college scouting. I get you really trust his opinion, but ultimately that is the GM's job to make the call. So if other people within that organization didn't like the pick, why'd they make it? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people saying he was the fall guy in Indianapolis for Chris Ballard to keep his job. But doesn't mean Chris Ballard didn't give him a recommendation to the Badgers, you know?
Right.
Just going through it, it's a position, I think, having a guy with some NFL experience in player personnel and with the GM, at least dealing with both kind of scouting and identifying players that could come play at Wisconsin, as well as somebody who will be able to hopefully sit at a negotiation table and talk with agents and see what kind of compensation players are looking for. I guess time will tell, but it seems, at least from a quote-unquote front office hire for college football, that it's a good move to have somebody with pro experience where they've dealt most of their career with players and agents in the front office.
Gotcha. So this is still weird for me, RJ. I know it's been like this for the last few years, but to hear general manager for college football or college basketball teams, yeah, and I get it, it's the trend and such, but maybe for some of those that don't necessarily kind of know the full role, is this like a general manager in pro sports where their main thing is they're going to go out there and target kind of some high school prospects and kind of lead the recruiting? Is it very similar to, that general manager role that we see in the NFL and that?
Yeah, as I was reading, at least for Wisconsin's purposes, he will be the head of that recruiting and scouting department, as they've been calling it. So that'll be his main focus. And I think it also depends on the school you go to, because you look at some of these other GMs from around college football, and most of them are famous football alumni. So there's that aspect to it too. So I think it really just depends on the program that we're looking at, and Wisconsin has appeared to make it the head of the recruiting department in that sense. So we're not really looking for a face-forward guy. I think that's kind of what we have with Brady Ewing now in that new alumni and high school coach outreach kind of thing. So this is more of the behind the scenes, at least from what I've been reading, and the more I dig into it, front office style role at Wisconsin.
Gotcha. I know was it this past weekend too? It's was official visit season for the Badgers, and it sounds like they're coming off of a pretty successful weekend. RJ, what did I see that they got 2 commits, a 4-star wideout and a 3-star linebacker, both coming from Arizona? Did I read that correct?
Yeah, and both with the last name Jones, but pretty sure they're not related.
Okay.
So you got Jai Jones from Chandler, Arizona, number 5 kid in the state of Arizona, 32nd overall wide receiver, a 4-star, who has had offers from a few schools. So it was good to see Wisconsin get a 4-star wide receiver commit. And I mean, this is 2027, so a lot can happen. Most of his offers were some West Coast schools, and then Indiana offered, so picked us over the reigning national champs. So that's kind of cool. But you also have to then go and think of it as, well, how much did we offer to give him?
Right.
So it's always one of those, are they really in love with the school? And I know we've talked in the past, especially during this time of the season, when you visit the Madison campus and you can go to all the spots and it's 80 degrees out, and you sit at the Union Terrace, you sit at the Edgewater Hotel on the balcony overlooking the lake. A lot of people fall in love with Madison because it's so different from what they were told it was. And they'll see all the farms and cornfields and all that as they fly in. But once you get into the airport and you just take a left, you're already basically on campus, So people kind of just, everything is a shock to them because they weren't expecting that to be Madison on what they see. And then, so they fall in love with campus, historically fallen in love with the coaching staffs. And I mean, this coaching staff doesn't seem too different outside of the results on the field from everything you hear from recruits. They really want what's best for me, all that kind of stuff. And it's the regular recruiting mumbo jumbo, but it's carried over from staff to staff to staff. So good to see that. And then you got a 3-star linebacker, also out of Arizona, Goodyear, Arizona. So Phoenix area. I mean, Chandler is too. But Nathan Jones, who is a top 150 linebacker in the country, and ranked 41st in the state of Arizona. So, I mean, I mean, there's 3 stars that go down to 41 in states like Arizona and some other states, and then Wisconsin's top 10 includes 3 stars. So it's always been something that we've seen in Wisconsin recruiting: get those trenches from the state and get the top players from the state, and then go get your skill positions elsewhere. It's been that way for the longest time when Wisconsin has been successful here. So yeah, they look like they're good gets as of right now, but like I said, who's to say, until they sign a scholarship, and not even necessarily an NIL deal, once they sign their letter of intent, I'll be okay with what this recruiting class is going to be. So we'll see what happens there. If you follow any of the social medias and or just blogs of people who cover recruiting, they are under the impression in the coming weeks there will be a few more guys committing to the Badgers. I saw there's a defensive back who had been committed to Florida State, blanking on the name right now, but after his visit to Madison on Sunday, he decommitted from Florida State. So I don't know what that says. It's kind of weird that you visit a place and then decommit that weekend, but we'll see what happens there. But it does seem Wisconsin might have a few more commits in the coming weeks here.
Awesome. Well, staying with football here, I know a few days ago, we heard the new 2026 Hall of Fame inductees, and I want to bring up Melvin Gordon because he is a part of this group, and obviously Wisconsin has quite the lineage of running backs in its history. And I don't want to ask you to rank Melvin Gordon because there's so many, but when you think about Melvin Gordon and his time with the Badgers, RJ, what are some of the things, or what is the thing that really kind of sticks out to you during his tenure with Wisconsin?
The ease he did everything with. Like, he might be the greatest running back in Wisconsin history, and that is when you have Ron Dane and
Monte Ball,
yeah, like you said,
yeah.
Monte Ball, Jonathan Taylor,
yeah.
James White. You can go down a list and just name a guy, and that's even going back to when they weren't good, and you had like Billy Merrick and Rufus Roadrunner Ferguson, and you just go down a list, and you're like, yeah, good.
Alan Amici, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah. You're 2 Heisman winners, and I would say he's better than them both.
Wow, that is high praise, yeah.
I mean, you're telling me Marcus Mariota should have won the Heisman that year when you had a running back who had 2,500 all-purpose yards? Like, that's just unheard of. He had better stats than, like, everybody that season. Didn't even get an invite, I believe. I don't remember him being at the Heisman ceremony. But Wisconsin should right now have 3 Heisman Trophy winners, but didn't because, yeah, and you'll hear everybody argue the reason why Marcus Mariota won that award, but there's no way he should have. It's just like how Jason White won the Heisman over Larry Fitzgerald. Explain that one to me. But yeah, and like, I would put him as players I've seen probably the most special Wisconsin running back in history of the people I've actually gotten to see play games.
I keep thinking back, one of my first flashbacks of him is that Big Ten championship game against Nebraska when Gordon, Monte, and James just ran all over the place, and Melvin Gordon, he like averaged like 20, 40 yards a carry or something like that, and had over 200 yards. So, I mean, what an epic performance in that one.
Yeah, and then, I mean, his favorite opponent was Nebraska, because then he put up 408 on them in 3 quarters. So,
yeah.
But yeah, just a special guy. And like you said, then there's Chris Borland.
Mm-hmm.
He was another guy who just knew football. Smaller in stature, probably got passed over by most people. That was a Joe Rudolph find, who was is still a pretty darn good recruiter. especially when he was here at Wisconsin. He was able to dip into Pennsylvania and Ohio and keep those lines open for Wisconsin when he was here. But yeah, Chris Borland, another guy who stepped away from football to protect his brain. And like, if you want to dog him for that, he's out there helping know the dangers of brain injuries in the sport now. So good for him. I know he took a lot of heat for that when he just walked away from everything, but coming back, he'll be in the Hall of Fame, and it's well deserved there. And then Sam Decker's in the class as well.
Yeah.
So it feels kind of odd because I remember, all the half times where they were introducing the Hall of Fame members, and their playing days were so long ago from when I was able to remember anything that I had to ask who some of these people were. But now we're getting to the point where I remember these people playing. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. I was just going to ask about Sam Decker too, because I almost feel like, and I know Johnny Davis was after, but I almost feel like he's like the last Bo Ryan, Wisconsin kid, kind of wait your turn. And yes, he was a sixth man in his freshman year and such, but I almost feel like he's kind of the end of a era in Badger basketball history.
Yeah, there's that the two Final Four runs. So yeah, that would I can agree with your assessment there. Plus, it's before NIL and transfer portal and all that, and I think he's even gone on record saying it'd have been pretty hard for me to stay after my freshman year.
Yeah.
So we can be lucky there was no transfer portal or NIL.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. So I know it's a bigger class and such. Was there anybody else that kind of, when you saw that list out there, you're like, oh yeah, they're all well deserving and such, but was there anybody else that kind of popped out to you?
It might be a little bad for me, but most of the other ones I didn't really know.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I don't feel bad then, so that's why I asked that question.
Yeah,
that was the same way.
And like but like some of them were athletes here, and the golf guy who ended up being a really big supporter for Wisconsin athletics after his career was done. I think he had a front office guy in the athletic department. There was a women's basketball player. Like, yeah, most of them. I guess I know Sis Paulson, but I don't really remember her career.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like they'll start trotting out the accomplishments of all of them in social media posts and all that. So you'll get to learn about them. But yeah, outside of those three, it really diminishes some things, at least in my eyes, when you trot out like those three guys and then the rest of the people are in the class, and then they kind of put you in order of the most cheers you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, don't feel bad because really that class, the rest of it, I kind of had to do some reading on who the people are, and quite frankly, don't really remember who they are even after reading about them. And that sounds kind of bad to say, but especially in a specific college Hall of Fame, it gets that way for certain sports when some of them aren't as highlighted as others, or on TV or things like that.
Right. All right. Before I let you go, now this is just because we were talking about baseball last week, and with UW Milwaukee's, success and one game away from getting to the super regional and such. I mean, is that kind of more fuel for the fire that, hey, Wisconsin Badgers, look at UW Milwaukee having success. Can we please get baseball back with the pro? I don't know if that crossed your mind, but it kind of crossed my mind since we were talking about it last week. Then I'm like, hey, it's literally like Wisconsin's only D1 baseball school and they're having success. Should that be a little bit of a motivating factor for Wisconsin?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to look at it and think. And I don't know the competitiveness of the Horizon League. I know the Big Ten is probably a more competitive baseball conference as a whole, but you're the only team without a baseball, the only school without a baseball team in the conference right now. So there might be more of a feasibility study, because I know last week when we talked, the UW is Title IX compliant, and still could be with the addition of the roster size of a men's baseball team. So nothing would need to be added, nothing would need to be taken away, and the opportunity is there. I don't know where you would go and play. Warner Park's here. Do they want something on campus? I don't know. Can you convert Goodman Diamond into also a baseball facility where you end up having a break fence, kind of like they do at Warner Park for softball and baseball, with a movable dirt mound that they bring in now for the baseball aspect of everything. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I know once the new AD is hired, my buddy who's the head of UW's club baseball teams is looking forward to talking to him to see what further needs to be done for this to be added, and he can use the success of UWM, even though they did have a losing record going in. But when you start out 5-21, turn it around and go 21-8 in your season, it's a pretty neat story, especially when I think I read 32 of the 34, the 42 kids on the roster are from the state. It shows you talents here. They got them all the way to one game away from the Super Regional, and turned their season around and had a hell of a run in their own conference tournament to qualify. But I think it's something when you see that kind of success, that maybe there is a spot for baseball here, especially since they weren't doing so bad when the program got cut. But Pat Richter needed to make some decisions to get this university's athletic department back to where it needs to be to not just fall off the map altogether. So that'll be something the new AD will have to contemplate, and hopefully there's enough people who have a connection to maybe UW baseball or just baseball in general that are in the community that can help monetarily facilitate that.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Hey, RJ, we appreciate the time as always, buddy. Get back on the golf course and continue to get better, okay? You got my permission to go out there. Take the rest of the day off and go out golf. So, dude.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll just let the people down the hall know that I'll be heading out for the day.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, dude, we'll catch up with you again next week, okay, bud?
Sounds good. We'll talk to you then.
You got it. All right, there you go. There's RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning. Good stuff with him as always. Let's take a quick break, but we'll be back after these few words. Big thanks again to Mr. RJ Cardinal for all of our Badger chats with him, especially breaking down the hiring of the latest football GM for the Wisconsin Badgers. So if you missed that conversation, we'll put it up in podcast form coming up a little bit later on. We do have to play a little catch-up here in a skosh because we ran a little bit late, so we'll have to take another break before the top of the hour. But hey, we got Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1 tonight. If you want to make some picks with that, you could do so. Just hit us up, 715-830-1912, or hang out in the Section 105 chat room. Who are you going to roll with for this series? You going to go with Vegas, or are you going to go with Carolina? Vegas, the third time in the last 9 or so years they've been to the Stanley Cup Finals. I believe it's first time Carolina in 20 years when they won it in 05-06. See? Pretty good hockey knowledge right there. Yeah, you like that?
That's,
I'm
you know your Stanley Cup Finals.
I do.
I say that facetiously because it's Stanley Cup Final for those who know.
Mm-hmm. But
that's like the Chippewa of hockey fans. That immediately susses it out. Carolina and Vegas, actually, outside of Tampa Bay and Florida, are actually kind of the teams of the decade so far, at least in terms of postseason performance. I mean, Vegas is second Stanley Cup Final this decade. They've made conference finals and such.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, they've been to the conference finals 3 times now this decade, even though I know it's been, as you said, 2 decades. These are sort of usual suspects even. Well, and also, remember when it was Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota were the 3 dominant teams? They're all in the same division. They're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
None of them made it. I don't know that means, is there a problem? No, they didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is good. Carolina's really good. So we'll have a good series.
You think it'll be a good series?
It
Would it be
should
better if the Avalanche were in it, though?
I mean, in terms of, star power, sure. And you got Jack Eichel with Vegas, so it's not like these are nobody teams that went on Cinderella runs and we don't know who they are. I mean, I think in terms of the overall quality, what would have been the best in terms of sheer quality probably would have been having some combination of the 3 aforementioned teams, the Central Division teams, if you could throw everyone into one big playoffs as opposed to be conference versus conference and have that be a matchup. Colorado, Minnesota, I know Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas, that was a really good series. If those 2 had played in the Stanley Cup Final, that would have been a great Stanley Cup Final just from an entertainment point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you never know it until it actually happens. I mean, Vegas, Colorado should have been good, and then it was a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to play it out first. So it could have been better talent-wise, but it will be good enough. It will as much as you can call it a worthy champion, you're going to get a worthy champion for the 25-26 season.
Right. Yeah. So that starts, and then we got the NBA Finals coming up tomorrow or the 4th? 4th, I think. I think it's the 4th.
Yeah.
I think it's June 4th. Let me just double check here. But
we get the logos on the courts. Yay!
It's tomorrow, actually, the 3rd.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, we do that. But is this the matchup that the NBA is geeked up? You got your big brand of the Knicks, and then maybe your next world superstar, if he isn't already superstar, Victor Wembanyama.
Well, could have been better. Could have been the Lakers and LeBron.
Well, the Knicks, I mean, they haven't won one in a while, so they get this chance to get Celebrity Row and all that.
Yes. So, it's all things considered, and if again, from a star power point perspective, good enough between all things Knicks, New York, we've discussed plenty, and Wemby, he made the leap this year.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's made even, I would say, a little bit more of a leap at times, not entirely, but in the playoffs, I think you've got a good potential matchup. My biggest curiosity is how well the Knicks stay performing well. It was a weird way of putting it, but there's some metrics to say they might legit be good. Mm-hmm. It's not just constantly running into relatively inferior opponents. This whole best 11 game stretch thing, I don't know how that would fare if they had been playing OKC or San Antonio in that 11 game stretch, but I think the presumption that now they're going to play a real team and this will be a 5 game series. I don't know. Mm-hmm. We might go a little longer than that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think it'll be a good one.
So I know we got to take a break, but quick. I've seen a little bit about, hey, Game 6 if it gets to Game 6 in New York, would you sell a ticket if you were a season ticket holder, knowing that could be a 6-figure ticket resale? If you were a Knicks fan,
how big of a Knicks fan are we talking?
If you're take your Bucks fandom, translate it to Knicks fandom. You're a season ticket holder, and you're being asked for $110,000 for a Game 6 ticket.
Where's my seat?
You're not front row because that might be. Does that go for $1 million? Mm-hmm. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Let's say. Remember, Madison Square Garden's a little goofy because it's an older arena based on the bowl. Let's say you are you're about the halfway up, but you're kind of in a corner. So it's not nosebleeds, but yeah, it's also not primo. $110,000 for a potential NBA champion.
That's the key, is potential.
Game 6, but you don't know. You got to make the decision. Do you sell?
See, this is where I was the one who, this doesn't compare, but I spent $500 on a ticket because I thought the Packers were going to go to the Super Bowl. Inflation though, right? So that would be, that was 2007. So
it'd be more.
It'd be more now. So. Okay, if it's 6 figures, I'm selling. I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm going to sell for
you
crying
watch
out
the
loud.
Knicks from home in your beloved Knicks in this fantasy world, but you also now have an extra 6 figures in your bank account.
But I'd honestly, if they win at that game, then I would be a little mad at myself for not being there. But then I'd be like looking at my bank account, and I'll throw my own party then at that point. So.
Yeah. Honestly, if it were 3-2 Spurs going to that game, I might actually sell if I were a Knicks fan. If it's 3-2 Knicks, I think I'd have to be there because eventually you'd be like, you could see them win if that was your team.
Yeah, I know. I've done it, but not at that level.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
All right, quick break, and then we'll head into the third hour or fourth hour. Excuse me. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. All right, we only got a couple minutes left to the top of the hour. So coming up next hour, we'll talk some more baseball. So we'll get to some Brewers chat with Game 2 coming your way tonight. Hey, if you want to win some Axman tickets, we'll take for tonight's Stanley Cup final game between Carolina and Vegas. To shoot those on over on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or the Section 105 chat. No trade, no other big NFL trade yet this morning. So,
Yet.
So, but don't never say never. It is June 2nd, so who knows? We might have some popping here in just a little bit. So, but
Anytime now. Or 10:02.
Probably it'll probably 10:02
At the moment we're done, then the Packers will do something.
So, but yeah, that did surprise me. I did not see that coming yesterday.
The A.J. Brown one, okay, yeah, you could.
Worst kept secret.
Fine.
Pillow talk.
Wow.
I had to go there.
Wow. Okay.
Come on.
But the other,
yeah.
yeah, I know. But yeah, okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. All right.
Read your
3
books.
in. Yes, read your books. 3 in. 1 more to go. We'll be right back after these news updates. All right, final hour. Kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning. Brain fart. It's Tuesday, confirmed, right?
Well, because I'm normally here on a Wednesday. You're probably like, wait, you're here Yeah, it's Tuesday. Hi, I'm here on a Tuesday. When was the last time I was here on a Tuesday?
I don't know.
It's been years.
We'll talk some baseball coming up here in just a little bit. So we'll talk some more Brewers with Game 2 getting underway here between the Brew Crew and the Giants. We got Kyle Harrison on the mound. Before that, though, if you want to check out the home opener for the Eau Claire Axemen football team at the Sonatag Center this Saturday, June 6th. All right, June 6th. Kickoff at 6:05 p.m. I've got some tickets that I'm going to give away. And all you simply have to do is just text the word Axemen, AXEMEN, to our texting line at 715-830-1912. It's the home opener coming up this Saturday, June 6th, 6:05 p.m. kickoff at the Sonatag Center. So text us the word Axemen, AXEMEN, if you want to check out, if you want to go to the game this Saturday night. Saturday. So you will have to pick up the tickets from our studios. So just because I want to make sure you actually get the tickets in hand. I don't know if I put it in the mail, you're going to get it in time. So you will have to pick them up at the studio here too. So you want to check out a little football. You want to check out some Axemen football. It's simple. That's all you got to do is just text that word. If you haven't been to the Sonatag Center yet, this might be your opportunity to go check out an event at the gorgeous Sonatag Center.
Depending on the weather, it'd be a little more air conditioned than you would be outside.
That's right too. So Eau Claire Axemen cutting down the competition one game at a time. All right. So let's talk some baseball, shall we? Shall we talk some baseball?
Let's.
Brewers, Game 2 tonight. In a typical Brewers fashion, though, last night, I kind of joked in the first hour if aliens invaded Earth and they said, tell us about this Milwaukee Brewers team. What kind of offense are they? I would just show them the line of this one. 18 hits, 16 runs, 11 walks, no home runs. That's the Milwaukee Brewers offense in a nutshell.
Don't explain it. It doesn't work.
Just show that. Right? Just show that. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the team is much more explicable via pitching because it's really good. Which batter has we're bunting well now. What's going on? Who? Okay. What is the most reliable batter in the Milwaukee Brewers lineup right now? Mm-hmm. Who is it?
Contreras.
Okay. Good answer.
It's got to be Contreras, I think, right now. Although I will say, as of late, Vaughn is hitting really well too.
He has.
He's been really good since coming back from. So I think don't overlook what he's been able to provide for this. Not a ton of power, just one home run, but you're talking 3 games in a row now that he's had multiple hits, at least 2 hits in each game.
So I'm already going to jump right to the postseason, but given that, I think it's fair to say at this point the Brewers are. I'm done doing the whole, they're totally going to be there. We've had enough instances of making a proclamation about that at this point in a given season, and it doesn't work out. But there's a very, 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 very good chance they are going to the postseason with the National League. If they're not hitting home runs, we know the tendencies of Major League Baseball in the past several years is you have to be able to hit home runs in the postseason in order to, probably even more so than having a good pitching staff. Is hitting home runs. They're not hitting home runs. So I dare say that they've got a pretty prominent Achilles heel right now if they're going to go on a run. It's a better place to be in than saying that they can't even make the playoffs. So, okay, for whom do they deal?
For whom the bell tolls?
Yes. Thank you, Metallica. Or the Bee Gees, for those who know.
I do not know.
They had a song called "For Whom the Bell Tolls." Very different from the Metallica one.
Metallica did remake it.
No, no. This is later era Bee Gees. Okay. But yeah, 2 very different songs, same title. For whom do the Brewers trade, and who do they give up to get home run hitting prowess? Because I think they're gonna need it.
This is the question of the year so far.
We're 2 months away, so we can start pondering at this point. Because they're going to need to do it. That's the answer
you think
here.
They need that home run? Okay.
They're going to need to do it. I mean, they're not. Take last night out of it. I mean, I'm half expected Sarah Langs to have a post about that. It was such a quirky outcome. They've had enough quirky things happen, like good quirky, but enough of that this year. I mean, they're not a home run hitting team. This isn't Harvey's Wallbangers. We're going to go that far to use a dated reference. But that's not who they are. Maybe they turn around and suddenly they become a home run hitting team. That happens in baseball too, but probably not. So they're going to need a basher at some point. Really, they probably need two. Because if you have one and the guy strikes out, well, now you got 8 other guys coming up who aren't reliable home run hitters, and then they're dead in the water. And all you need is for, as I think it's Kurt Hogg would say, if Jacob Mizorowski doesn't have the goods in a given night, all right, there's one game down. You got 2 more to go.
So are you saying then maybe they should make a move for Tariq Skubal that everybody's kind of running with?
That's I hadn't thought of it that way. Like, do you go the opposite way and really lock down your pitching? But then I'm having shades of the Braves series. And that should have been domination. It's just the Brewers couldn't hit at all, and then they lose a 1-0 game.
The thing that I'm not trying, and I know we're getting way ahead of it. I don't right now. If we're playing like buy futures, I am skeptical of the Brewers bringing in a bat at this point. Part of it is I just think if we look at where the standings are right now, and you could just look at the division itself, I think the price is going to be too much. I just we talked about it last year and they didn't do it. I know this year's different, and a lot can change before the trade deadline. If everything kind of stays status quo as it is now, you're talking about a lot of teams that may not be sellers. So it's supply and demand comes into play here. And I don't see the Brewers, especially with this labor issue on the horizon. That is such a big wild card in this whole thing. Now, you can make the argument, hey, maybe that's a reason why they should go make a trade, because it might be completely different in terms of labor stuff and contracts and all that later on. Or they stay in Pats because, again, it's a Wild West after this. Right. Because, again, the players are very adamant they are not having a salary cap.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I still don't think it's happening.
I still think we end up with something.
A floor, I think.
I did find it interesting from that Jeff Passan, or was it Jeff Passan or Alden Gonzalez? Can't remember which one, from ESPN. Might have been Gonzalez. They pointed out, hey, both sides do agree on the TV revenue. That's probably, I think, was it Passan that pointed this out? Like, that's the thing that's probably really going to level everything off a little bit. Both teams agree on that. Like, let's make sure everything gets spread around properly. That's a pretty good sign if you really think about it. That's a notable agreement on something that needs to be addressed. We got to
could that change though, where MLB's like, okay, we're going to take this back then if you're not with salary?
Yeah,
you could have that back.
Hopefully, someone doesn't get a little babyish about it, or the other way around, or something like that. And I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm afraid at some point in the negotiating, it probably will. All of that being said, now we talked last year about Byron Buxton going over. Twins are a back and forth team. They just had a bad run, but who knows? Maybe they're about to go on a bit of a winning streak. They're a feast or famine team this year. That being said, they are going to they're on pace for about 73 wins. As pointed out the other day, that their expected win total, at least according to one of them was Fangraphs, or one of them was 72.5, and right now they're on pace for 73. Okay, they're not going to be a playoff team. I know they would have qualified. But
he's got the no trade deadline or no trade clause though, too, right?
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation he's going to. Not informed speculation. I think it's just general speculation that he would waive it, but probably only to go to Atlanta because he's from Georgia. So I don't know that that's a factor for the Brewers. I'm not sure how many really good home run hitters are out there to get. Like you said, the price is probably high. I still think there's some reversion to the mean. American League teams get better, National League teams get worse, some will fade. I don't think the Cardinals go all in this year. They're way ahead of schedule, so they're not going to, quote-unquote, mortgage the future. So I'm not too worried about them getting in line. They may try to raise a price and try to bluff the Brewers into paying too much, but the Brewers are smart. They're not going to fall for another team doing that. Matt Arnold's not going to. I'd be more concerned about, does Atlanta try to do something, especially if the Braves get an injury? But then we're in speculation point. I don't know. All that being said, I think they go at least offensive or something. I think they need to do a little bit more to both even out offense, defense, and also account for the possibility of what if Jacob Mizorowski in particular. I mean, it could happen again to literally any player, but Mizorowski is the one that I'm always scared. At what point does the arm go flying into the backstop? Or his leg twists in some direction and he is done for the year? It's not happening. Like he's a strong Cy Young candidate. Incredibly, maybe even not the favorite given what Sanchez is doing in Philadelphia. But if he's not number one, he's a strong number two right now. And if this holds, oh my gosh. But they've got to balance this more if they're going to do a postseason run. And they can. But they got to get some more power. Not as much average. They need more power. I don't know who that is. I think they got the prospects to do it. They got the depth to do it. Who's the guy that they can get? And I don't know who that is. And I don't know which team's going to be selling off. I don't know. But that's, I think the Brewers are going to make a push for that pretty strongly.
Interesting. Probably not anybody from the Red Sox. I was looking at an article that said some Red Sox, the Brewers might have fleeced them too much at this
Probably.
point.
They've gone back and forth enough times. Yeah, maybe not. Or maybe the Red Sox are stupid enough that they'll do it again.
Hey, maybe Wilson Contreras would actually want to play with the Brewers, and we don't need that. We don't need a first baseman or DH.
We don't need Wilson Contreras, period.
Yeah.
Sorry. No.
And don't say we. You're not a Brewers fan. How dare you? Come on.
You know what? I'm going to say the we because I'm throwing that into the Twins because then he suddenly went off on the Twins because that's what he does. We in the upper Midwest proper, outside of Chicago, not counting you guys, do not need Wilson Contreras on our teams. He's going to screw us up at some point. So no. Yeah. There we go. There's your we.
All right, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though, as we start to wrap up this final hour. We got about 45 minutes left and such, so join in on the conversation. Hit us up with a text at 715-830-1912. Final call right now if you want to win some tickets for the Eau Claire Axemen versus the Arkansas Diamonds, the home opener at the Sonatag Center this Saturday, June 6th, kickoff at 6:05 p.m. All you have to do is text us the word Axemen, 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 to 715-830-1912 if you want to win some tickets to the home opener for the Eau Claire Axemen. They just kicked off their season last week, and this will be their home opener at the Sonatag Center this Saturday, June 6th, kickoff at 6:05 p.m. Quick break, and we'll be right back after these few words. Our first Tailgate Thursday for the Eau Claire Express game is going to be next week, June 11th. Thursday, June 11th. They're going to be taking on the Bismarck in that game. So what is Tailgate Thursday? We'll have the mobile man cave over there around 5:30, hanging out before the game. We'll have some stuff to give away. And for all of you kiddos, the card collecting club is going to be joining me. So if you stop by the mobile man cave, the card collecting club is going to give you some free cards too. So probably be baseball since it's baseball season and such. So big thanks to Brian for that. And if I have any extra tickets, I'll be giving some tickets to that game as well. So again, 5:30 next Thursday, June 11th for our Tailgate Thursday. And again, if you bring the kiddos, the card collecting club will be there handing out free sports cards to the kiddos as well. So should be a lot of fun. The other dates, July 16th, there'll be a pregame to my 40th.
Nice.
Yeah.
How are you planning to celebrate being in the over-the-hill gang, to use a Washington Redskins reference?
I've never had a surprise birthday party, so I'm really giving the hint to my wife.
Okay.
I've never really had a birthday party to begin with.
Okay.
Maybe when I was like 6.
Funny you say that. Like I'm kind of the same. Like I remember when I was 6, because it was something that cued that particular memory that I had like my entire kindergarten class over.
Yeah.
And then it faded from there, and now I'm not the birthday party type either.
Yeah. So that's July 16th. Our third one's July 30th, and then our final one's August 6th, which again will be a pregame before the Kasper Classic.
Right. So basically, it's about celebrating you.
It was random. So yeah.
Folks, bring Dan Kasper, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles things, Space Jam. Bring it. We should have like a big fill the truck with 90s nostalgia.
Don't get my hopes up like that, man. Because speaking of which, I was literally going to transition into this.
Ooh, okay.
There's a news story.
Gift idea here, folks?
Maybe not a gift idea, but there is a news story out there right now, and all I had to do was read the headline. Okay, I didn't need to do anything else with this. You ready for this?
Yes.
This was from NBC News. This is the headline with a picture of a manhole cover. Police investigate videos of men mysteriously emerging from New York City sewers. You know what that means? They're here.
They are.
Finally.
So they finally leave that roof near Phoenix Park?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Actually getting back to work now instead of just
Finally.
hanging out?
Come on now. There's video of people emerging from the man. It's probably the Foot Clan and the Turtles are taking care of business.
So is this marketing for this next movie?
That would be funny if it was.
This is the very beginning, so that would be really clever if true.
Come on. I didn't even have to read that article. You put a picture of New York City manhole cover in that headline? Turtles.
Okay, if anyone brings I dare someone to bring a manhole cover
That's too
as
heavy.
a 40th anniversary. 40th anniversary. What am I saying? 40th birthday present.
It's kind of an anniversary.
Yeah, it is. It's the anniversary of your birth. Yeah, it is. Same thing. Someone bring a manhole cover.
Gosh,
I'm not doing it. Okay, look, I'm not going to lift one of those. But if someone wants to, idea planted.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So hey.
Painted slime green.
Just saying, I may have when I was a wee lad, like 3, and I went on walks with my grandma. I'm still am. I love pepperoni, and I would eat bags of it. I still do. Mm-hmm. I may have stuck some pepperoni down the sewers for the turtles when I was a little kid. Is that not cute? Isn't that the cutest thing you've heard ever? Come on.
Yes, it is absolutely cute.
And they're finally repaying me after all these years. They're coming to save the world. So,
see, that's the thing. Like you plant enough there.
The sewers from Taylor County made its way to New York.
Well, okay, so Medford area. I think that's in the Chippewa River flowage, right? Because that would they drain that way. I'm trying to think, where do they go east? So I think they would. So. How
animals could have migrated.
Okay, so it goes down to eventually it's the Chippewa, Mississippi River, down to the Gulf, the ocean. Probably eventually gets into the North Atlantic. The cycle of water. So it probably flows around down to like South America, over to Africa, to Europe, up towards the Arctic, comes back up to New York, gets ingested up there somewhere. Mm-hmm. So your pepperoni from like 1992
Yeah.
somehow has manifested itself in a manhole cover in New York in 2026. I can't rule it out.
Nope.
It's not impossible.
You're welcome, world.
Okay.
Turtles are here. So you're welcome.
Heroes in a half shell.
Turtle power. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Heck yeah. I like it. Yeah. So, game 2, Brewers tonight. Kyle Harrison. You're talking about pitchers that have themselves a month of May. Kyle Harrison's kind of like third, fourth, fifth fiddle, even though he went 4-0 with a .93 ERA.
Just talking to John Murphy. He used to be on the show at our sister station. He's literally across the hallway on his show right now. Before I came in, and he said that Harrison's his favorite pitcher right now. Probably because he has more confidence in that Harrison's going to hold up compared to Miz. Harrison is the, like, if I call him the dark horse Cy Young candidate, is that too obvious of a descriptor at this point? It's
no,
totally the dark
so.
horse.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
because he's not up there in odds on that, but
No, but he's very good.
Paul Skeens is going to have better odds than him.
Right. I mean, okay. He said I was going to ask about this after after Sanchez's mark last week, but who is number one? And without looking at the odds, what does Kalshi say or something? Who's the favorite right now in your opinion for Cy Young? If the season ended today,
For the National League?
yes,
It's Sanchez. I think it's Sanchez.
Sanchez is one. Is Mizorowski two, or is Skeens still?
I would put Mizorowski, but I feel like Skeens is going to get more attention.
Because he's Paul Skeens. There's a little bit
The
of
reputation, and even though he's still young, it's just I feel like that's going to be the case. I don't think it's right, but yeah, that's kind of where I would go.
I mean, Skeens is having a good year. Incredible that this is why we don't overreact. That first game, you're like, oh no, he's let. Yeah, okay, well then that's why you play a whole season and not literally a game. I will say that in retrospect, putting Mizorowski on the All-Star lineup, as much as that doesn't mean anything, that's looking like a really good call a year later. Short of getting blown out with an injury, he is on the All-Star roster this year again.
So we started a daily trivia on the video stream. So I'm not telling you what the question is, or I didn't tell you the question for the first 3.5 hours. Because you got to go to the video stream and answer it, and then you get entered to win. But it kind of relates to Jacob Mizorowski because I asked who has, and I'm going to tell you right now, so you can't answer anymore because you had 3.5 hours to do so. But who has the most career strikeouts, most strikeouts in a single season in Brewers history? The answer was Ben Sheets at 264. Jacob Mizorowski right now has 108. Will Jacob Mizorowski beat that record this year? And let's assume he stays healthy.
Okay. And again, how many games have they played?
Mizorowski has played 12.
Okay. So quarter of the season, so 108 times.
He needs 156 more to tie.
I mean, let's go on the opposite side and say third of a season. So right now he's on pace to shatter it. Can he keep doing that? I will say yes.
I think he is. I think he's on pace.
So. I keep wondering if there's is there like a 3-week stretch where he's on the IL or something like that? Or do the Brewers play it? I don't think they're going to be in position to play it safe in September or something. There'll be too many machinations for seeding and such. I think he breaks it. I think so.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was a guy that was going to do it, it's going to be him this year if he stays healthy, right?
He's doing stuff we have never seen a pitcher do. I mean, StatCast era, I know. I wonder what this would have been like in like the Nolan Ryan era. But, yeah, he's doing stuff modern era we've never seen before. So why not? Yeah, I think he breaks the record.
Yep. If I were, again, a futures betting person,
Yeah,
I'm going with it.
He'll get the Brewers strikeout record, sure. So All-Stars, Mizorowski, Harrison's going to be an All-Star.
You think so?
I would that would seem like a snub if he's not. I mean, I know there's X number that you can have, so if he doesn't get in, and if you can make a better case for everyone else, that is never a snub if you can legitimize everyone else. But in a vacuum, Harrison has to go. If he's pitching he's pitching well enough to be considered for a Cy Young. How is he not an all-star?
I think the number right now of all-stars is 4 for the Brewers.
Okay.
Those two, Contreras and Turing.
Yeah, that seems fair.
I think just Cheerio missing all that time
No.
right away is not going to help.
Yeah.
So, and same with Yelich and
Bonds has not done enough. No.
name recognition too. Just first base power. You kind of think about that. He's got 1 home run. So I think those are the 4. Maybe I'm trying to think. McGill missed. No. Uribe. No. I think that's.
Yeah. That's
Or
fine.
maybe Aaron Ashby says he is a league leader in wins at 9.
He's really going to get to 20. He's going to be a 20-game winner as a reliever.
Good for him.
That's the biggest random stat I am actually a little invested in seeing come to fruition this year. I want him to do it.
Yeah.
I know it kind of, I guess, bastardizes the notion of wins in baseball if that really does happen, but why not? Let's keep it weird.
Do it up.
I wouldn't be surprised. Last point before I know you got to take a break. If Harrison is like a later replacement, I think he ultimately maybe he doesn't make the initial pitcher lineup.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I think he would be like 1 or 2 next. Again, without looking at who all the pitchers are, we still got another month to see how pitchers shake out. Some will probably fall off. Some could still rise up a little further too.
All right, let's take a quick break. Back with plenty more after these few words. I want to switch gears here for just a few minutes. I want to talk a little WNBA and Caitlin Clark stuff that's kind of going on here because it is I'm not saying, but I'm just saying Tuesday. I'm not saying Caitlin Clark is all of a sudden bad for the game of basketball, but I'm just saying I am kind of getting tired of the antics with the foul stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there was I referenced it yesterday. There was a video during a game where she barely got touched. It was like at the top of the key, and she's like complaining. I am getting sick of that stuff. I do think the interaction with her and the coach during the timeout was overblown.
Yeah.
That one seemed to be. I've seen worse, player and coach. Way worse.
Yeah.
That got overblown. But I'm not saying that there's drama, but I'm just saying I am getting tired of some of Caitlin Clark's antics. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Is that fair for me? I think she's still really good for the game, and a lot of players probably should tip their caps to her. But it's like at a certain point, just go out and play basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying it's her or that league. It's across the board all over. It's the NBA. It's quarterbacks in the NFL, for crying out loud. It's wide receivers. It's all of this.
We see this like SGA. You just mentioned the diva receivers. That's such a thing. It happens everywhere. I think a fair amount of the, I don't want to say immunity, but lack of it is because, she's white hot star to start, brought tons of attention to what was already a rising college women's game. It didn't go from zero to everything because of Caitlin Clark, but it was jet fuel added to what was a rising game and is now. And it really kind of stayed up there now after that. She goes to the WNBA. Same thing happens. It was gaining an additional popularity earlier this decade, and then she comes in. Then you get the whole weird Angel Reese thing happened for a while. That's tampered down now. I wonder if the lack of success, which is not entirely her fault because she's been injured a fair amount. I think the lack of success is starting to put the spotlight on other stuff. Understandably so. We're gonna have takes on Caitlin Clark no matter what because she's the most visible WNBA player. Besides, whether that's right or wrong, it probably should be more on like Asia Wilson, someone like that. Who gets plenty of attention, mind you. It's not like Caitlin Clark and everyone else. No. There's plenty. Thankfully, by feet, I'm seeing a lot of, and right now it's really good. Have you seen Olivia Miles playing for the Lynx?
Yeah.
Dang, that is fun basketball right there. So there's plenty of good that's out there in the WNBA right now. But I'd like to see less of that. I think that's a general consensus. But maybe that's who she is. It's not inherently bad, but it's not ideal. You want to be known for your playmaking ability. I don't think we're starting to see the end of Caitlin Clark. If anyone's wondering that, no. I don't think it's that. But there's something there that probably needs to be a little bit addressed. I know everyone's got Caitlin Clark takes too. The take machine is not going away. But where are you at on this?
The Caitlin Clark thing?
Yeah,
and I think this isn't something new. I think this was going on during Iowa too.
Yeah.
But like anything, okay, you're at that level, it's going to be amplified more. And I don't remember, and I don't know if it's just because it's social media, but I don't remember back in the good old days of, and again, it's all across the board. It's not just the WNBA. It is the NBA. It is the NFL with quarterbacks. It is, all. I just don't remember it being this bad when I was younger, and I don't know if that's because I wasn't exposed to it as much because of social media.
Yeah.
Or where it gets so replayed all the time, and maybe that's where it's annoying, where at the first off, you watch it one time. It's like, okay, you don't even think about it. But then it's like on repeat. right? It's replay, it's clips, it's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's Twitter. And maybe that's the annoying part. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, God, she's annoying. But it's just because I've seen it 1,500 times from 20 different sources. And that's the annoying part.
Part of it's also because, and this is kind of a tangent of what I was saying, she got so much attention, a lot of it justifiable, mind you, and in a good way because of her ability on the court. But she got so much attention, so many deals are in like another ad the other day, like it's still there. That it's the pedestal thing. Get put up on a pedestal, and then let's knock you down from the pedestal if there is reason to do so. Well, there's reason to do so here. There's a lot of stuff that probably should not be part of a basketball game. Again, understanding a lot of antics, like we were just saying. The antics are everywhere in sports. Doesn't mean it's right. So if you get a lot of hype and you're not living up to the hype and you're doing things that people aren't necessarily going to like, well, that's going to become the number one attention. And boy, the pile-on's going to start. I think there were a lot of people that were waiting to have a justifiable criticism because that really wasn't there when some were criticizing Clark. You could see that in that first, especially that first WNBA season. It was like, what? Why are you going off on Caitlin Clark on other players? I know there were racial elements to this too. There was a lot there that is just like, let's just not touch this. There's a dynamic. Let's just let it play out. Fast forward a little while now. Now it's probably more focused on the individual, just her, and then doing this extra stuff on the court. Come on, just play better. Would it make more sense to trade Caitlin Clark to a different team?
Oh, boy.
Yeah? I know the Fever probably never would want that. They became relevant really fast.
They did. That's the thing, is like what speaks more. And I think for a league and teams that are looking for money, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
So,
but
I think you stick with it because is it negative attention is always good attention though too? Because here we are talking about it.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it gets the Fever more talk. It's the WNBA, not necessarily positively, but it is more talk. But given what's happened with that team, that they basically reset around her, and the dynamic still doesn't seem to be good. Think about how we've addressed how we've addressed players that are maybe not in the best situation on a given team in other sports. We've said that a fair amount with the NFL, like a certain wide receiver. I don't mean an individual. It's easy to go, oh, you mean A.J. Brown? Well, I guess you could say that, A.J. Brown. But how many times have we talked about a receiver who's more demonstrative? Maybe they need to go to a place that can control that guy a little bit more. I know there's that's a little fraught to talk about controlling anyone. Like, okay, where are we going with this? But coaching, atmosphere. You know this. You're coaching kids, but put them in the right dynamic, a positive environment, a healthy environment where they're still going to be expressive, but you channel it the right way. We've talked about that with the Brewers and their particular chemistry. You bring in the right kind of guy, or can you bring in someone who's a little shakier, but then the atmosphere, the climate makes them better.
And I think part of it, you mentioned the kids part, and I think that's where it really kind of stood out to me yesterday too, because let's face it, we emulate as kids our favorite athletes. We emulate almost everything they do. When I was younger, I mean, everybody emulated the Jordan tongue, right? I mean, you drive to the hoop, you're going to do the tongue, sort of, or you're going to throw like Favre or whatever. Kids are doing the gritty because of Justin Jefferson. I mean, and I'm seeing kids.
Kobe.
And even my kid never watched Kobe. He says Kobe all the time when he shoots something. It's that stuff. And my kid is guilty of this too. We also see the complaining part. And I've caught him a few times, and that I don't like it. And I call him out right away on it. Whether it's Little League and you're complaining about a ball or strike, no. Or he strikes out and he's kind of got a little fit. I'm like, that stays out there. You don't come back in the dugout with that.
Right.
How much of that is kind of? I'm not trying to. I don't know where it's coming from, but you see some of that
It's
stuff.
there. It's in the climate. It's in the environment. You see that, you emulate it. Because maybe you don't know any better. You're like, well, that's what they do.
Yeah.
These are the people, the role models. Go all Charles Barkley on this, but that's what you see.
Yeah.
So do you necessarily know that that's wrong?
Right.
And is it wrong? I mean, you could get into a real existential discussion of what actually is wrong and what isn't. I mean, I think generally we think that's not the way to approach the game. We were just saying that with regard to Caitlin Clark. So how is that channeled?
Yeah.
How do you get into the best group of people? So in Clark's case, I really wonder if the Fever is the best organization for her at this point.
Is it almost one of those? And we got to take a break here really quick. So you mentioned Kobe a little bit earlier, and there was that dynamic with him and Shaq and all that. Does Caitlin Clark need her Phil Jackson? You know, the example I'll go with, like the Jordan and the Pippen and the Rodman. I mean, not many coaches could handle that, right? You look at Shaq and Kobe and that. Not many coaches could probably handle that.
Right.
Does Caitlin Clark need the Phil Jackson?
That might be the answer. And maybe that's in Indiana. Maybe it's a different organization. But that probably is the right one. With whom would she interact the best? And I don't know the answer to that. But if we want to
Phil Jackson.
bring Phil Jackson to WNBA, let's see what happens. But maybe so. I'm already immediately going, okay, would that work with Cheryl Reeve? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe so, but it probably would go wrong just as well. Plus, like I said, we got a pretty good point guard right now. But I think they need she needs something else. I want every player to be their best, of course. It's what you want. I think they got to do something different. It's not easy, though.
Yep. All right, we got to take a quick break, and we'll wrap it up with some picks coming up after these few words. Let's jump right into it. We've got picks. Game 1 tonight, Stanley Cup Final. Golden Knights, Hurricanes. Who are you rolling with?
I'll take the Knights.
I'm going to go Carolina
Okay.
with this one. So let's do the MLB schedule. Full slate. Detroit taking on Tampa.
I'll take the Rays.
I'm going to go Rays, too. San Diego Padres versus the Philadelphia Phillies.
Phils.
I'm gonna go, they're playing better.
Mm-hmm. Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball.
Yep.
Here we go.
How weird is that, by the way, when your kid's your boss?
Yeah.
You know, like, think about that.
Yeah.
Would, like, say your daughter eventually becomes your boss, or Hudson. I don't know if I can deal with that.
It would be
On one hand, I want to be a proud dad, but at the other hand, I'm like, respect your elders.
It was weird enough. There was a short period where my dad worked here after he had retired from being news director, and then he wanted to keep doing some news stuff. So he did like a part-time news thing here at the radio station. It was cool, but it was kind of weird. And I wasn't his boss, but it was still like, okay. Yeah. That would be stranger still.
Yeah. Baltimore, Boston.
I'll go with the Red Sox.
I'll go Red Sox by default. Miami and the surprising Nationals? Competitive Nationals?
A little bit, yeah. I'll go Miami in this one.
I'm going to go Nationals. Cleveland versus the Yankees.
I'll take New York.
I'll go with the Yankees too. Kansas City versus Cincinnati.
I'll go Reds.
Toronto versus the Braves.
Bravos.
I'm going to go Braves. Texas, St. Louis.
Cards.
Cardinals. Athletics and Cubs.
I'll go with the A's.
Ooh, I'm going to go Cubs. Pittsburgh versus Houston.
We'll go Houston.
I'll go Pittsburgh. Colorado versus the Angels.
Do they have to play?
For what it's worth, Colorado won 9-8 last night.
Wow,
So, yeah.
heck, they bothered. I'll go Angels. Why not?
I'll go Colorado. Why not? Dodgers, Diamondbacks.
Dodgers.
Mets versus Mariners.
We'll go Mariners.
Let's do your Twinnies hosting the White Sox.
So this will probably be the beginning of a winning streak here after last night. So let's go Twins. Let's go.
I'm going to go White Sox.
Still going to be mediocre.
Yeah, I'm going to go White Sox. And then Giants, Brewers. Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Brew Crew.
I'll take the Brewers.
I'm going to go Brewers too. So, all right, those are your picks for this morning. Series-wise, who do you got between Carolina and Vegas?
I'll take the Golden Knights. They seem to be in a bit of a they're hot at the right time. So
yeah, all right.
I'll say Vegas for that. I'm picking the Spurs, by the way, in the
I was just going to ask
NBA Finals.
Who do you have a problem? Like, are you like actively rooting against the Knicks because it's the Knicks?
I mean, maybe a bit against Knicks fandom. That's the team. Fine. There is a little bit of me in the wake of Sam Darnold to the Seahawks that here's another Minnesota sports star gets traded away.
Karl-Anthony Towns.
Does better. Yep. Though metrically speaking, Cats.
It's been a hot minute though since he's been traded. So
yeah, I know it's not overnight, but Cats metrics hold up better than Darnold's. I saw another stat. Was it yesterday? I think that like Darnold's still like in terms of like likely interceptions. I can't remember the exact one, but there's another one that reinforced that Darnold still wasn't that good in Seattle. He was good enough. Whereas Karl-Anthony Towns, like, I mean, the part of it is that the Knicks worked around his weaknesses, but that unlocked a whole lot of things too. So I guess you could say it's Darnold-esque, but Cat hasn't been a liability. He's actually had some really good moments with New York. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of that, a little bit of the other thing, but I'm not an anti-Knicks person. I'm just going to get annoyed by Stephen A. takes and stuff like that. But the team itself, fine. I know Brunson does flopping, but okay, fine, whatever. I guess I'm, if I have a rooting interest, maybe more for San Antonio, I guess, probably.
That's probably where I'm at. Like the Spurs, yeah, I know we all don't like dynasties, and the Spurs just got done with one a while ago, but they weren't that annoying dynasty, I don't think.
No, they were the ultimate, like, oh, they're kind of there.
Mm-hmm. And they've
big
built
fundamental thing.
Yeah, and they've built with it. I mean, I know they trade for Darren Fox, but I mean, Castle, Harper, Wembanyama, they all built.
They built it.
Yeah.
There is part of me, though, that does wish the Knicks would win a title so we can put that to rest.
Yeah.
And it does make sense. It's New York. Like that, okay, your hotbeds of a given sport should have success. So fine. That it makes sense that the Knicks are good, I guess. If they are, cool.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for us. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. Same place, same time tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. as we are making the turn on this week. We'll talk to you then.